Hanging from a thread till you dead, cause your partner put a price on your head. Cause your chick was laying up in his bed. She getting details, spilling every word that you said. She working retail, thirsty bitch just trying to get ahead. If history tell us anything, y'all both end up dead. It's just a street tale, a fable, some shit someone said. Sit at the table and hope there's more to offer than bread. Pulled out the cradle, first steps you getting chased by a fed. No head starts, just body parts and lead sparks. Old religion, brand new hate and weak hearts. Oligarchs, krakens, dragons, you see sharks. Imagine you could manage to maneuver the deep part. You a savage, you can have it, just show all your teeth sharp. If you could grab it, you could stab it, just aim for the bleeding heart. The ones that show compassion, a soldier that seeks art. Does the artist that wage war take over or take part? Taking a knee, thinking no one faithful is me. I'm good people in bad lands, no evil live within me. I mind mine, I'll survive, find this lands for the free. If I'm mistaken, I'm forsaken, no one rescuing me. Residual effects, stray bullets through familiar necks. For any number of infractions that I deem disrespect. Your beliefs, you deserve better, but we both in the shit. You just haven't come to grips with it yet. Fight or flight, and they ain't really nowhere to go. If your back is against the wall and you ain't throwing no blows, you gon' crumble in the rubble, become blood in the snow. If you a victim, they collect them, grab the body and go. Dig them and ditch them, total disregard for the soul. Gas them and lit them, watch the flesh burn in the glow. Where we live and catch a shivering, it's a hell you don't know. Your best hope is that your dying ain't slow, or your dying's a show. Where we at, it's every man for his own. A bloody backdrop, where killers just zone and slice flesh to the bone. Masked and gloved up front of your home. A flash of gun, but the side of your dome. Fresh blood from a stone, dents in your sense. Kick your fucking ball through the fence, dare you to say something. No sense in sitting around in suspense. Find out what's next, open your fucking mouth, disrespect. See the extent of how my life is intense. She beautiful and oppressed in a permanent summer dress. She a servant and still she blessed. Children cradled against her breast, whispering prayers, wishing their souls the best, knowing that they forgotten, not forgetting they're blessed. The bloodiest red lights, just piles of dead life. Something must be broken, the glyphs wasn't read right. You think them Bible papers was shed light? Yeah, right. Burn after reading, tell the preacher I'm leaving. What is poppin', people? Welcome back to Sha'il Reacts. I am your host, Sha'il, and we are back in the building. Salutes to y'all. Welcome. Thank you for hanging out with me on this lovely, what the hell is today? Hump Day, Wednesday afternoon, all right? Morning, noon, breakfast in the West, lunch in the East. Salutes to y'all. What is poppin', people? Right? Hope everybody's having a great day. It's gloomy in the city of Chi. It looks like it's 8 o'clock at night. It's raining cats and ass. But we still here, all right? Salutes to 298 for being first. Salutes to everybody that hit that like button on the way in. All right? You know, may you people that hit the like button before we even start, may you people be blessed by the universe. And in abundance. Hope everybody's out there getting that million money today. All right? We're gonna hang out. We got a couple things to talk about. What seems to be a couple more, faux pas from the United States government, mistakes that nobody really cares about. We'll take a look at that. We're gonna have an update on the young scooter situation. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the secret police force that Harfouk, the Secretary of Security for Mexico, supposedly has put together quietly. So yeah, we got a couple things to talk about today. I am supplied up and we are good to go, all right? Again, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. We're trying to hit our 10,000 mark so that we can blow past it and get straight to 100K. So make sure you help us out with that, engagement, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, share the videos. Go to the edited videos, the premiered videos, share some of those, that are edited down for time so that, it's very nice and fluffy for your friends to enjoy, you know what I'm saying? Boom. So yeah, that's what we're going to get into. Let me get through the chat real quick. Shout out 298 for being first. Salute 298 for being first. Appreciate you, sir. Shout out Eddie Jimenez. Mike Lopez, let's get ready to rumble. Salute Shannon. Salute the Pools. Title's crazy. I'm not a gang member. I'm a gay barber. That's the story.
You never play me, nice try. Ballin' in a nice spot. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Hello, Mr. Nice Watch.
Jonathan Pantuia sent $5 salutes Chi Il my dude, Il Cartel members, and chat. I hope you have a blessed and grateful Wednesday. Please like and subscribe to the great quality content on your way and it's free. FDT, eat, El Salvador Prison. Happy World Autism Awareness Day.
Salutes. All right, shout out JP for the $5 power chat. Salute Shy Il my dude, Il Cartel members in chat. I hope you have a blessed and grateful Wednesday. Please like and subscribe to the great quality content on your way in. It's free. FDT, which I would see as fuck the trolls, El Tubo, and the El Salvador Prison. Happy World Autism Awareness Day. Salute to you, JP. Hope you're having a great day. We rained out, so we inside. We chilling. Let's get it. Appreciate you. We got Velez. Shout out Pooh. Shout out Adrian Torres. Zachary Leckleitner back in the building.
No mommy's wake.
Salutes to you, sir. You've been out there getting that money, so do your thing, dog. All right, we always appreciate those that are able to come back. We lose people sometimes. People come, people go. Sometimes it's for reasons that, sometimes somebody gets locked up. Sometimes there's family issues. Sometimes work is hard. Sometimes I say something that somebody don't agree with and they just bounce. You know what I'm saying? So it just salutes to those that come back. I appreciate y'all. When we don't hear you and we know you hearing us, hit that like button, man. That's the best you can do for us. We appreciate you and we send positive vibes your way. All right, salutes. Shout out Velez, Mike Lopez. That's the gay barber that was having unconsented sex acts with his clients. Didn't know that. We'll find out in the story. We'll see. I'm lined up to learn about it with y'all. Shout out Zach. Shout out William Borden on the check-in. State of Utah is banning all pride flags. That's gay. Fuck is wrong with Utah? What's good, everybody? Salutes Papa the Stoner. Darkly Noon on the check-in. Salutes to you. My brother Oso in the building. She definitely got arrested, Shannon. She definitely got arrested. She definitely went on a live stream. We're talking about the young lady that called the fake 911 call on the house where young Scooter was, that he ran out of, jumped the fence, supposedly broke his leg, and I would say popped the femoral artery and bled out. She made a fake 911 call to place, and she's been arrested. Not that that's gonna. I don't know what kind of sentence fake calls hold. They're not. It's not like they're gonna put his demise or his fall on her. But we'll talk about that in a bit when we get to it. But she definitely got arrested. All right, we got pictures of her, and she also went on a live stream and tried to reason or try to manipulate the situation and give excuses and reasons why it happened. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. I appreciate y'all. Shout out
FM
FM
just
for
subscribed on
subscribing.
YouTube.
Appreciate you. She had it coming. She definitely had it coming. That's filthy, dirty, and she ain't the only one. There's plenty people, doing that shit. Premiere today. Listen, I had a premiere lined up, and it was cleared to go. It was monetized. I added some metadata to it, and El Tubo, who loves to hold me down, decided to demonetize it. So now, I have to try something else for the premiere. It might be this one here. So we will have a premiere, but it'll be after the live stream, maybe 30. I like to do it 30 minutes so they send out the notification. So probably 30 minutes after the live stream, we'll have a premiere. Good stuff on the playlist. Salutes to you, Shannon. Thank you for going to check that stuff out. I appreciate you. What the fuck you running for? Doesn't matter. Sometimes you instinctually run from the police, but in this case, not sure that it matters. Whatever was in that house. I'll tell you what wasn't in that house, 298. The shootout she was talking about wasn't in that house. The little kid she was talking about wasn't in that house. The woman that she said was being abused in there was not in that house. The 7 men she said all had hammers in there was not in that house. She went out of her way. And she played herself.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
Fake 911 calls are no joke. Go to straight to jail. That's the next. I can't forget that sound bite. Straight to jail. Right? Call 911. You play with 911, straight to jail. No fucking around. No playing no games. No none of it. Straight to jail. Stop playing games. Right? Do not play any games. Let's see. Salute Shail, my dude, Il Cartel members in chat. Hope you have a blessed and grateful Wednesday. Please like and subscribe to the great quality content on your way in. It's free. It don't cost you a thing to use a little kinetic energy. Again, to make editing on myself easier, to all of those that come in here and that are used to, saying something in the chat, me shouting them out right away. When it comes to doing stories now, to help myself edit even better, I will be acknowledging only the comments that pertain to the story that I'm talking about. When I am done with the story, I'll come back and give all the shout outs that I can give before we move on. So hopefully that's understood. Again, hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. We're going to get into it. It's going to be a lot of reading. For me, how about the 911 black woman operator that was hanging off on white collars? Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. We can talk about that. If there's a video, don't forget her claim the woman appeared to be under. Oh yeah, that too. My bad, my bad, Shannon. I forgot that extra claim that the woman that was being abused was underage. Yo, she going to jail like a motherfucker. I don't know for how long though. All right, I don't know for how long. So let's get it. We're gonna start with the. We're gonna start with this. So yesterday we talked about a father of a special needs child and a husband was dragged off to El Salvador, thrown in prison with the worst of the worst, and it seems to be consensus that the man is neither a gang member nor a criminal, simply an immigrant, simply an undocumented immigrant, right? Well, no, probably not, because don't he have a wife? Aren't they married? I don't get it, right? Whatever. And he was also court ordered to not be sent back to El Salvador, back to Venezuela, wherever the hell. He was not to be sent anywhere. You know what I'm saying? All right, this was something clear that they tried to turn the planes around that were taking these prisoners to this prison.
So we think that's one wrong guy already, right? Okay, one wrong guy already. Now, here's the only problem. There's more. Wait, there's more. And this one seems a little more compelling. Now, I don't know the crimes, if any, committed by these other people. But I do know there are claims of, you got the wrong guy. I am not a gang member. I am a gay barber. Right? And we've been having these conversations about how these guys, you know, the Doge, Elon Musk says, Donald, we found a law from, you know, the Alien Enemies Law from 1760, whatever the fuck. And we could use that. And the Don says, we can do it. It'll be huge. We'll send them all to fucking El Salvador. No problem. $6 million. Right? And then they start pushing buttons, and now they done washed up. They done thrown the baby out with the bathwater, and they done washed up innocent people. And now those innocent people are in a prison that they don't have. And I said this yesterday. They're not going to want to admit to fucking up and sending the wrong people, so they're not going to go get them. That's my thought on it. Right? That's my thought on it. No, this is a new one, Shannon. That's my thought on it. Shannon said, wait, was he a gay barber? No, we're talking about, this is the next guy says, they say he is. But that's number one. You know what I'm saying? But so, and it seems to be the stance they're taking, because they're sitting around saying, well, they don't have to give them back to us. You should demand them. You sent them. You the one that fucked up.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that though.
But they can't do that in front of y'all. They can't do that in front of y'all. Make them look stupid. They don't want to look stupid. They want you to have their back. They want to look like they got 100% rating and they don't fuck up. All right, let's get it. We're going to jump into this New Yorker story first. There's another one that seems to be more in depth with images and everything. But chronologically, this is the one that kicked it off. All right, let's get it. What the fuck? Let's get it. The makeup artist, and I'll tell you how this... that's another thing I want to tell you. I'll tell you how this ended up on my radar after we read this shit. It ended up, after we talked about it yesterday, last night late, something popped up in my feed and I was like, yo, they wildin'. They just pushing buttons and wiping up everybody. Anybody can end up in one of these prisons. The makeup artist Donald Trump deported under the Alien Enemies Act. President has invoked the law to send Venezuelans to prison in El Salvador without due process, and in many cases, under false pretenses. All right? Dope little illustration right here. Throughout the fall and winter, Alexis Romero de Hernandez struggled to accept a grim new routine. She lived in a small town in central Venezuela called Capacho with her husband and the younger of her two sons. Her eldest, a 31-year-old makeup artist named Andri Jose Hernandez Romero, was being held in an immigration jail in San Diego. He called her every few days, usually late in the afternoon, to reassure her that he was safe. The calls would last about a minute. Alexis had to put money on his calling card to keep them coming. Mama, relax, Andri would tell her. I'm fine. They treating us well. What's bad is that we're stuck here. In Capacho, Andri was a member of a local theater troupe, and he acted in an annual church procession during the Epiphany, which in the Spanish-speaking world is known as El Día de los Reyes Magos, or Three Kings Day. He loved to draw and had a penchant for bringing aesthetic flourishes to every corner of his life. When he worked as a hotel receptionist for a time, he created balloon decorations in the lobby. At home, he designed costumes and clothes. It's starting to seem like the title that I used seems right, and it's working. It seems accurate, right? He made friends easily, but Alexis said didn't drink or stay out late. Andre is a very, very humble and very open, she told me by phone. And very open. Is very, very humble and very, very open, she told me by phone. He's comfortable being alone. He cooks for me and helps clean. He's a homebody. In 2023, Andre took a job at a state-run television station in Caracas, the country's capital. It was an ideal job. He was responsible for prepping the show's anchors and guests for the screen. And his family, who have a shop that sells glass for mirrors and tables, needed the money. But he was gay and skeptical of the country's authoritarian regime, which made him a target for abuse. The year he spent in Caracas, Alexis told me, was one of persecution and discrimination. People in high places always discriminate against those who are lower down. They humiliated him. At night, after work, he was often followed home and harassed by armed vigilantes aligned with the government. On one occasion, his boss at the station slapped him in front of his co-workers. When Andre told his parents that he decided to leave Venezuela in late May of 2024, they begged him to stay. At least see how things go with the elections, Alexis told him, referring to the country's presidential race that August. Alexis told him, referring to the country's presidential race that August. His father talked to him too, but there was no way to convince him not to go. André's decision initially seemed prescient. The current president, Nicolas Maduro, who appeared to have lost the vote by an overwhelming margin, declared himself the winner. André was one of roughly 760,000 Venezuelans who traveled to the United States during the Biden administration, traversing an infamously dangerous jungle known as the Darien Gap between Colombia and Panama. He made the journey, Alexis said. He wanted to change his life, to reach his potential, and to help us here. The first time Andre tried to enter the U.S., he was arrested and sent to Tabasco, Mexico, where a friend helped him download a government app that allowed migrants to make appointments at points of entry. The system known as CBP-1 was the Biden administration's attempt to create a more orderly process for people to enter the country. Crazy. Part of the premise was to incentivize migrants to come the right way, though it often took months for slots to open up. On the morning of August 29th, the U.S. official interviewed Andre at the U.S.-Mexican border in San Diego. Andre had no criminal record and the exchange seemed straightforward. "Did you claim asylum while in Mexico?" the official asked. He said, "I didn't know I could do that," he replied. Andre eventually passed his preliminary asylum screening. Officials determined that he demonstrated a credible fear of persecution in his home country, but during a physical exam, they had fixated on his tattoos. A snake extending from a bouquet of flowers covers his left forearm, and bicep. On each of his wrists is a crown with the words "Mom" and "Dad" inked next to them in English. The photographs in his file show a thin man, slight of build, with a youthful face and dark hair. There are rings under his eyes, and he is standing before the government photographer without a shirt. Andre denied belonging to any gang. The agent who asked him about the tattoos described his demeanor during interview as uncooperative. A note was added to his file. Upon conducting a review of detainee Hernandez's tattoos, it was found that detainee Hernandez has a crown on each one of his wrists. The crown has been found to be an identifier for a Tren de Aragua gang member. These crowns, according to the government, were determining factors to conclude reasonable suspicion. But from my understanding, he got two different crowns. He got a 5-point crown on one hand and an imperial crown on the other one. Like, it sounds like they're reaching. You know what I'm saying? Often, asylum seekers who pass their initial screenings are released with the future court date, but Andre remained in custody. apparently because of government suspicion about his tattoos. In December, 3 months into his detention, he met Paulina Reyes. Just gotta get some. My eyes is wilding right now. Paulina Reyes, a lawyer from the Immigrant Defenders Law Center, a legal advocacy organization who agreed to represent him on a pro bono basis. Reyes filed an asylum application on Andri's behalf. They spoke regularly both in person and on the phone while waiting for a court appearance scheduled for March 13th. About a week before the hearing, Andri and a number of other Venezuelans in San Diego were transferred to a facility in South Texas. Reyes, whose Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE had neglected to inform, found this out when Andri called her from Texas. Alright, so they was transferred to Texas. That was the last time the two of them, and Andri called her from Texas. That was the last time the two of them spoke. During his March 13th hearing in San Diego, Reyes thought he might appear on video. When he did not, the proceedings were postponed until March 17th. Reyes wasn't able to speak with him, so she didn't realize that on Friday, March 14th, he managed to make one last phone call to his mother. He told her he was fine, but that the government was about to transfer him again. He had no information about his destination. And that's it. You're donezo, Papa. They taking you with. They not playing no games. All right? They're not playing no games. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, yo. All right. He told her he was fine, but that the government was about to transfer him again. He had no information about his destination. When Andri failed to appear at his second hearing, the immigration judge wanted to know why the government wasn't making him available. He was removed to El Salvador, the ICE lawyer replied. We just found out today. This surprised the judge, who was there to determine whether or not Andri should be deported. How can he be removed to El Salvador, the judge asked, if there's no removal order? On March 14th, Donald Trump decided to do whatever the fuck he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? It's the bottom line. Freedom, rules, checks and balances. No. We got loopholes. We're going to do what we want to do, me and my homeboy Elon. Don't worry about it. Just like Biden did what he wanted to do and gave them apps and shit to cross the border with, to help them cross the border. On March 14th, Trompito has signed a proclamation declaring that his administration will begin using vastly expanded presidential powers under the Alien Enemies Act, a law from 1798, right, that had previously, so tattoos and all this shit, they weren't thinking about no fucking tattoos in 1798. I mean, I know they existed, but I'm saying they weren't thinking of Tren de Aragua in fucking 1798. Let's see. Law from 1798 that had previously been invoked just 3 times, supplying the rationale for the U.S. government to target British nationals during the War of 1812, to intern Germans during the First World War, and to intern Japanese, German, and Italian immigrants during the Second. Okay, that happened here in this country. Real talk. The law allows the president to detain and deport immigrants living lawfully in the U.S. If they are from countries considered enemies of the government. In this case, Trump claimed that the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, operating in conjunction with elements of the Maduro government, had infiltrated the United States and was conducting irregular warfare. The White House didn't make the proclamation public for another day. In the meantime, the government was secretly putting Venezuelans who were in federal custody on planes, readying them for deportation. Andri was one of them. There were 237 others who, like him, were accused of belonging to the gang. The vast majority were involved in pending immigration cases, but were not given an opportunity to contest the alleged evidence against them. No due process. A high-ranking ICE official later acknowledged that many of these men had no criminal records in the U.S. If they had no criminal records in the U.S., then they should have just been deported. They shouldn't have been put in no super prison. I don't understand what's happening here, man. At what point does anybody just get to go for that ride? Huh? At what point am I speaking fucking Spanish in Target and I gotta go for that ride now? Because I spoke Spanish in front of Jimmy Bob in the fucking Target. It's crazy. And a high-ranking ICE official later acknowledged that many of these men had no criminal records in the U.S., but insisted that the absence of such a history actually highlights the risk they pose. El Salvador is a conspicuously punitive destination. The country's president, Nayib Bukele, has suspended parts of the country's constitution. I mean, that's what's happening here. And during the past 3 years, jailed more than 80,000 alleged gang members without clear charges. In February, there's got to be mistakes in there. You're never going to bat 1,000. This is bullshit. A lot of mistakes in there. And we already see how many popping up already. That's why I don't buy the bullshit, the numbers, the fucking 1,000 for 50,000. Miss me with that bullshit. They done fucked up. They pushed all the buttons. They threw the baby out with the bathwater. In February, after meeting in San Salvador with Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State, Bukaki offered the House immigrants who'd been arrested on American soil in his newly built prison. Bukaki offered to house immigrants who'd been arrested on American soil in his newly built prison, which is called the Terrorism Confinement Center. We have offered the United States of America the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system. Bukaki wrote on X. The fee would be relatively low for the U.S., but significant for us, making our entire prison system sustainable. On the day that Trump signed the order, Lee Jalert, a veteran litigator with the American Civil Liberties Union who specializes in immigrants' rights, was in a courtroom in Washington, D.C., arguing a case about another controversial decision recently made by the administration. In February, the president has sent 178 Venezuelan men from U.S. detention to the military compound at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. After the ACLU brought a legal challenge, the Department of Homeland Security deported the men to Venezuela, evidently to avoid a court fight over their access to legal representation. So just subverting the Constitution and subverting America by going through Guantanamo Bay and El Salvador, it's all a circle jerk. Right? In February, the president has sent hundreds, Guantanamo Bay, Homeland Security, okay, I read all that. But the government said that it planned to send more migrants to Guantanamo. Jalert was trying to ensure that they had access to lawyers. In the hours before the hearing, he'd also been monitoring early news reports that the president was preparing to invoke the Alien Enemies Act to deport more Venezuelan migrants. As soon as the hearing ended, Jalert rushed back to his hotel where he worked through the night with his ACLU colleagues to prepare an emergency lawsuit. The idea was to prevent the government from deporting anyone under the Alien Enemies Act while the case could be argued in court. If people already had final orders of removal, the government doesn't need the Alien Enemies Act, Jalert told me. Using the Alien Enemies Act is all about short-circuiting the immigration process, not only to eliminate hearings in immigration court, but to be able to send them wherever the government wants, okay?
No mommy's way.
No mommy's way. Through a national network of immigration attorneys, the team identified 5 plaintiffs who fit the profile of those at the greatest risk of being summarily deported to El Salvador. They were Venezuelan men in federal custody who had open immigration cases and had recently been transferred to a detention facility in Texas. The lawyers took down affidavits from the plaintiffs' immigration attorneys. The men themselves were unreachable and crafted an argument to protect the wider class of migrants in custody. The ACLU filed its brief sometime after 2 a.m. on March 15th, a Saturday. Within hours, a federal judge in Washington, D.C. had issued a temporary restraining order to block the deportation of the 5 plaintiffs who, it turned out, had already been taken to the airport. 4 of them had to be pulled off the plane on the tarmac, off the planes on the tarmac. The other passengers were left to wait on the aircraft for several hours more. The judge, James Boasberg, a former prosecutor who'd been appointed to his current position by Barack Obama and to a prior judgeship by George W. Bush, scheduled a hearing on Zoom for 5 o'clock that afternoon. About an hour before it was set to begin, the White House announced its invocation of the Alien Enemies Act. At the hearing, Boasberg asked the government lawyer, "Are imminent deportations and removals under this proclamation planned?" According to a transcript of the proceedings, the lawyer responded, "Your Honor, I don't know the answer to that question." Boasberg turned to Gallant, who said, "I recognize it's Saturday, but on the other hand, the government appears to be moving planes very rapidly to El Salvador with hundreds of people. So we hope that in the next 5 minutes, counsel for the government can get an answer to that." Boasberg gave the government 40 minutes. During that time, according to an analysis by the Washington Post, 2 planes full of migrants left Texas for Honduras. Either the government lawyer was unaware of these departures, or he feigned ignorance, because when Boasberg reconvened the hearing at 6 o'clock, the attorney still couldn't provide any information. "I'm still trying to get additional details. Planes was in the air and on their way." AKA, the United States government played itself, literally. All right? President versus judges. Shit's crazy. The systems we have in play that were supposed to be in play to protect us from tyranny, they don't even exist no more, son. All right, let's get it. At 6:45, Boasberg issued a ruling to extend his temporary restraining order to anyone in federal custody, which meant that, until further notice, the Trump administration could deport people under federal immigration law, but not under the Alien Enemies Act, particularly giving the plaintiffs important information unrebutted by the government that flights are actively departing and plan to depart. "I do not believe that I am able to wait any longer," Boasberg said. He instructed the government's lawyer that any plane containing these folks that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States. They returned them, minus the prisoners. They dropped them off in El Salvador real quick. He added, however that's accomplished, I leave to you. But this is something that you need to make sure is complied with immediately. Nah, they told you to go get your fucking shine box.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Trompito told you to go get your fucking shine box. We talked about it. We was here. The judge's verbal order was entered into the written record at 7:26 p.m. Shortly after that, the 2 planes that had left Texas during the adjournment arrived in Honduras, and a third took off from Texas. Within a few hours, each of those planes departed Honduras for El Salvador, one at 11:39 p.m., another at 11:43 p.m., and the last at 12:39 a.m. Just before 8 o'clock on the morning of March 16th, Bukiak posted a New York Post article about Boasberg's order, adding in a comment, "Oopsie, too late." Wow, it's basically fuck you. Go get your fucking
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Not only is Trompito shitting on this judge, but, you know, the president or the dictator of El Salvador got him too. Oopsie. Wow. Rubio retweeted, look at that. Rubio's such a cuck too. Rubio retweeted Bukiak's sarcastic post. These guys are a bunch of dorks with power. That's all it is. Bunch of lame fucks with a bunch of power. Alright? These guys soft as a bag of baby feet. Alright, let's see. Bukiak soon began releasing footage of Salvadoran soldiers swarming the migrants as they got off the planes. Videos showed the men looking stunned as their heads were shaved and they were frog marched into prison. Right? Several hours later, Nelson, a 35-year-old from Venezuela, who works as a truck driver in North Carolina, spotted his younger brother Arturo in a photograph of the detained men in prison whites and crouching in rows with their heads bowed. Nelson's last name has been withheld for his protection. He couldn't see Arturo's face, but he didn't have to. Nelson spotted a hummingbird tattoo on his neck. Beyond that, he told me, we don't have any signs that my brother's even still alive. Beyond that, he told me, we don't have any signs that my brother's even still alive. Arturo's case was first reported by Mother Jones, but Nelson and I met through another Venezuelan in the U.S. whose cousin had been deported. She was too scared to talk to a journalist. We can't give an interview because his life is at risk in Venezuela and we're in danger here, she texted. Este señor Trump is even threatening the lawyers who defend immigrants. Arturo is a singer who worked landscaping jobs in the U.S. He left Venezuela in 2016, living in Colombia and then Chile with his wife, who 3 months ago gave birth to their daughter. As part of his application for temporary protected status in the United States, which would have theoretically shielded him from deportation and granted him work authorization, he was supposed to have an appointment with DHS on Friday, February 12th to get fingerprinted. But on February 8th, he was arrested at a house where he was shooting a music video. And Nelson's telling, ICE officers turned up looking for someone else, but took Arturo into custody as a collateral interest. Listen, these ICE motherfuckers are terrorists. Period. You know? Period. Let's see where we at right here. We almost there. We almost there. Hell no, we not almost there. This motherfucker. God damn. All right? I'm not talking to y'all until this shit is done. Let's get it. Let's get it. Huh? Pass this up. Pass this up. Yeah, all of this. All right, collateral arrest. The family didn't have the money to retain a lawyer, and Nelson was told he couldn't raise bond. Still, Nelson managed to secure documentation from each of the countries where his brother had lived, demonstrating that he didn't have a criminal history. When I asked Nelson whether he thought Arturo's tattoos were the reason for his deportation to El Salvador, he told me, I imagine it has to be. He hasn't even gotten a speeding ticket in the U.S., which is how they normally get Latinos. I just don't even understand how there's evidence to categorize him as a criminal. And this is what I was telling Upper Echelon, and this is my fucking problem. That you hear, oh, they're deporting people, and you're like, good, yeah, right, got him. But you don't know how they got there. And you don't know if they were just picked up off the street. You love to assume so that it doesn't sound like your political god is a monster. You know what I'm saying? Or politics is a monster. That's crazy. Just scooping. Oh, we didn't get him, but we'll take you for them tattoos. Don't worry about it. Other family members learned of the relative's deportation the same way that Nelson had, from the footage released by Bukiat. As the Washington Post reported, Mervin Yamarte, a 29-year-old father from Maracaibo, who had worked as a roofer in Venezuela, had called his mother in mid-March, saying he would see her soon after being arrested. He and three of his friends from home, who were living together in Dallas, had agreed to sign deportation orders, expecting to be returned to Venezuela. When his mother recognized him in a video posted by Bukiat, she told the Post, I couldn't speak. The father of Carlos Daniel Terran, an 18-year-old Venezuelan who was first arrested in January, shared with NPR a series of text messages he had exchanged with his son on the eve of Carlos's deportation. With God's help, we are leaving today. Carlos had said, Carlos had said, assuming that he was being deported home. God bless you, son, his father replied. A few days later, someone sent him a photo of his son in the Salvadoran prison. Other relatives panicked when they hadn't heard from the men but could not find them in the U.S. government's searchable database of people in immigration detention. The wife of Franco Caraballo, a 26-year-old, told Reuters, I've never seen him without hair, so I haven't recognized him in the photos, adding, I just suspect he's there because of the tattoos that he has. And right now, any Venezuelan man with tattoos is assumed to be a gang member. Nobody can tell me that might not be true. Not one person in here can say to me, Shy, I guarantee you everybody in that prison is a gang member. You can't do it. Because you know what the government told you. If the government snatched up, it could have been you. If they snatched up your kid, threw your kid in there, you'd be singing a different fucking song. I want to talk about Jay. I'm saying people in general. You'd be singing a different song about this immigration shit if your kid just happened to get swooped up in it. You know? It's crazy talk. Which provided a point system based on... Okay, here we go. The Trump administration has denied the Venezuelans a chance to respond to the government's allegations of gang membership. But the most obvious through line in each case appears to be their tattoos. That's too easy, bro. You're gonna call... That's like calling every person with tattoos a devil worshiper. Or calling every person with tattoos. You know, I just don't understand what's happening here. I mean, I understand what's happening. Clearly. Y'all don't understand what's happening. As part of the White House effort to invoke the Alien Enemies Act, ICE officers received a document called the Alien Enemy Validation Guide, which provided a point system based on different categories of incriminating behavior or associations. If an immigrant in custody scored 6 points or higher, according to the rubric, he may be validated as a gang member. Tattoos, which fall under the symbolism category, constitute 4 points. Social media posts displaying gang symbols are 2 points. I'd probably take social media and give that 4 points over tattoos. Using open source material, agents that using open source material, agents at the investigation. At the investigative arm of ICE compiled photos of tattoos. I don't have no coffee in me. I need my synapses firing. They're not firing in me. Just smoking bud. Salutes. Using open source material, agents at the investigative arm of ICE compiled photos of tattoos considered suspicious. Crowns, stars, and the Michael Jordan Jumpman logo. Right? No Jordans. Period. No Jumpman at least. Jersey Reyes Barrio, a 36-year-old soccer player and youth coach, fled Venezuela last year after marching in anti-government protests. His immigration file cites 2 grounds for suspicion. A gesture he made while posing for a photo that was posted to social media, and a tattoo of a crown on top of a soccer ball with the rosary and the word Dios. His lawyer, Lynette Tobin, worked with his family to secure documents from the police in Venezuela to show that he hadn't committed any crimes. They also tracked down Barrios' tattoo artist. He wanted a tattoo related to soccer. The artist said in a legal declaration, "We searched on the internet and the ball with the crown caught our attention to represent the king of soccer and he liked the idea." Huh? It's a shame that it seems to him like he sealed his fate by picking a flash tattoo off the internet. It's kind of fucking disgusting. Right? All of these people from other countries dying to come to America, they got to be looking at America like, that place is more unjust than all these other motherfuckers, or just as unjust as all these other fucking places. All right, salutes. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so, y'all. In the aftermath of the deportation, someone took photographs of Tobin's court filings and posted them on social media, where they soon went viral. Critics of Trump shared them as evidence that innocent people were being sent to rot in prison, I believe it, in El Salvador. While the president's defenders shared photos of Tobin deriding the affidavit she gave us as a hoax, I looked at my phone and I saw the calls and the emails. I was seriously horrified, she told me. Right-wing groups were singling her out for harassment, but she was more upset about her client, whose personal information was now being widely circulated. Andres Antillano, a criminology professor at the Central University of Venezuela, has spent much of his career studying Tren de Aragua. This is the first time I've ever encountered any reference to the significance of tattoos. What? And hold on. Who is it? Somebody in the chat be saying, it might have been Primo, I don't know who it was, but somebody was saying that Tren de Aragua was something made up by the government, boom, boom, boom. If this guy's been studying it for a long career, then it's been in existence. Now they're probably just using it here, like the NWO. Right? But think about it. This guy, a criminology professor, studies this gang and says this is the first time I've ever encountered any reference to the significance of tattoos. That's crazy. He called the thinking absurd and naive. Tattoos were typically associated with Central American gangs that built their identities around holding specific territory, he said. But it's been a long time since that sort of thing would apply to Tren de Aragua. In fact, the guidance ICE provided to its officers for identifying members of Tren de Aragua seems to be based on the operations of Salvadorian gang MS-13. See, so what they're doing is the United States government is giving ICE a playbook, right? The problem is these ICE people are chasing down Chicago gangs, but they gave them the LA gang playbook. It's two different politics. Two different way of doing things. Two different total structures. Some similarities, but really not. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. So they're looking at this Tren de Aragua situation, but they're using the MS-13 model. And that seems stupid. But this is America, right? Let's get it. It's flags, graffiti, hand signs, and tattoos, all hallmarks of MS-13, but irrelevant to how Tren de Aragua functions. Rana Risquez, a Venezuelan journalist who reported extensively on criminal groups in Venezuela, published a definitive book on Tren de Aragua. The truth is that a tattoo identifying Tren de Aragua does not exist. It don't exist. She told me. Tren de Aragua does not use any tattoos as a form of gang identification. No Venezuelan gang does. In Risquez's view, tattoos are a completely unreliable indicator of someone's criminal proclivities. Rather, they reflect contemporary fashions and socio-economic class. Most young people in Latin America these days have tattoos, she said. Often they imitate those of celebrities. A watch in reference to the Argentinian soccer legend Lionel Messi, the phrase, Real hasta la muerte, in homage to the Puerto Rican singer Anuel, AA. Both of these symbols appear in the ICE documents. Risquez went on, people get a tattoo because it means something particular to them. Andres tattoos have immediate significance to the people in Capacho. For 108 years, the town has held a special festival for the celebration of Three Kings Day, replete with elaborate theatrical acts, sets, costumes, and casts of dozens. The holiday is observed widely across Venezuela and indeed throughout much of the Christian world, but the production in Capacho is legendary in the country and has been awarded distinguished status as a national patrimonio or heritage. This work represents, for the community of Capacho, the greatest cultural expression of street theater. Jorge Cardenas, a leader of the foundation of Reyes Magos of Capacho, told me earlier this week, to speak of Capacho is to speak of Reyes Magos. Cardenas, known as Andres since he was a boy, Cardenas has known Andres since he was a boy when Andres participated in the festival's program for children. When we spoke, Cardenas described Andres' contributions to local theater, including all of his roles in the festival itself, before leaving me a series of messages brimming with literary and religious detail. André was one of the 13 main actors in the show, a makeup stylist for the others, and the costume designer for nearly 24 dancers. One of the principal symbols of Three Kings Day is a crown. André is a great lover of the festival, and the 2 crowns on his wrist are a tribute to his passion for it, Caldena said. Alright, let's see. During the past week, several of André's friends, some in the U.S., others in Venezuela, urged me to watch footage of André at the festival, which is on YouTube. There was something painfully desperate in their insistence, as if seeing images of André for myself would help correct an otherwise stunning cultural misunderstanding. One morning, a childhood friend of André's named Alejandro, who currently lives in the state of Georgia, where he works as a food delivery man, damn, boy, y'all be doxing motherfuckers, spoke to me during his shift. Alejandro came to the U.S. at the end of 2023, shortly after the unaliving of his father, or the termination of his father, or the expiration of his father, who owned a bus company. He had spent a few years in Venezuela as a taxi driver, but eventually abandoned the job because he had to pay too much of his meager wages to local criminal groups as protection money, a tax known as a vacuna, or vaccine. The irony wasn't lost on him that he was now living in a country where he could be accused of gangsterism. They're taking everyone now, he told me. It doesn't matter if you have papers or not. He lives in an apartment with his brother-in-law and 2 others from Capacho. One of them, in a nod to their hometown, also has a tattoo of a crown. Boy, you better go cut that shit out. Real talk. You know what I mean? You better go put a hot spoon to that. Get that off of you. All right? Because these fools ain't going. They taking everything moving that got a crown on it. Judge Boasberg called the hearing on March 17th to determine whether the Trump administration had deliberately flouted his earlier order. Of course they did. If so, it meant that the White House was choosing to ignore the Constitution's foundational system of checks and balances. Unchecked, unbalanced. I've been told y'all. All right? I told y'all. Checks and balances out the window. And challenging the judiciary to do something about it. By then, the Justice Department had unsuccessfully asked the higher court to remove Boasberg from the case. Get him fired. They want to put him in the fucking bathroom. Put him in the fucking bedroom. That's what they own. They want to put him in the bathroom. In the courtroom, Boasberg explained to administration's lawyers that he wanted to perform fact-finding. When did the planes leave for El Salvador? How many people were on each one? When were the migrants transferred into the custody of Salvadoran authorities? I'm not at liberty to disclose anything about any flights, one of the administration's lawyers said. Trump's legal team then struggled to explain why they couldn't say more. If you tell me it's classified, then we will go down to a classified facility in this building, and you can give me that information then, Boasberg said. Boasberg ain't playing. Boasberg upset. Oh, you guys just flipped me off and sent me to go get my fucking shine box?
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
That ain't happening. Right? He basically told him, we can take this shit outside. Boasberg said, if what you're saying is that it's classified and you can't tell me, then you're going to need to make a good showing as to why that is. The government lawyer said that he could consult with the clients on that, but we don't believe it's necessary, Jalert told the judge. There's been a lot of talk over the last 7 weeks about constitutional crisis. People are throwing that term around. I think we're getting very close to it. Bruh. Within a day, Trump began attacking Boasberg on Truth Social. This radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator. No, this radical left lunatic. No, I got a bad. It's not a good Trump. This radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator, who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama. He got throw the Hussein in there. This is just PR, man. It's public relations and fuckery, man. These are WWE promos that they throw on each other. Was not elected president, he wrote. I'm just doing what voters wanted me to do. This judge, like many of the crooked judges I'm forced to appear before, should be impeached. In response to the president, Chief Justice John Roberts issued a rare rebuke saying, for more than 2 centuries it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. They going at it, boy. They got beef. Soon, Attorney General Pam Bondi's name began to appear on an increasingly aggressive series of filings. Pam Bondi's name became... Soon, Attorney General Pam Bondi's name began to appear on an increasingly aggressive series of filings. One of them, called the Judge's Request for Information, a picayune dispute over the micromanagement of immaterial fact-finding. The administration claims that it did not violate the judge's order because 2 of the 3 deportation flights had already left the United States when Boasberg made his ruling. According to federal officials, the Venezuelans on the 3rd plane weren't removed solely on the basis of the Aliens Enemies Act, but that... The Venezuelans on the 3rd plane weren't removed solely on the basis of the Aliens Enemies Act. But that assertion raises another question. If they were deported under regular immigration procedures, why would they be sent to El Salvador without prior warning? They're just doing shit. Put them on a plane. Drop them off. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. They just throwing people on a plane, man. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out later. We'll talk to Boasberg. We'll get him figured out. Crazy. Early last week, the Justice Department invoked the state secrets privilege, claiming that sharing even minimal details about the deportation flights would pose reasonable danger to national security and foreign affairs. Gallant was the lead litigator in some of the highest profile lawsuits of Trump's first term, including successful challenges to the initial Muslim ban and the administration's family separation policy. He pointed out that the last time Roberts rebuked the president was in 2018 when, in another case brought by Gallant in the ACLU, a federal judge blocked a Trump proclamation ending asylum at the border. Trump lambasted him as an Obama judge. The echoes were unmistakable, yet they also reinforced the fact that the administration has only become more combative since Trump's first term. They're much more intent on picking a fight with the federal judiciary, Gallant told me. It appears to me that they think that's a winning political issue for them. He continued, the stridency of their position is what's catching me, the unwillingness to give at all. What also seems clear is that the DOJ lawyers do not have authorization to make any concessions in court. AKA, just show up in court. You ain't got shit to say. And they don't get to talk to me, so don't tell them shit. On March 26th, a federal appeals court upheld Boasberg's temporary restraining order. One of the judges, Patricia Millett, had expressed disbelief that Venezuelans were being sent to El Salvador without any notice or opportunity to mount a legal defense. Nazis got better. I'm saying it like that because I don't know if I could say it the other way, but Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemies Act, she said. The Justice Department filed an emergency petition before the Supreme Court. In the meantime, Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who has publicly called undocumented immigrants dirtbags, visited the Salvadoran facility. Standing in front of a cell crammed with prisoners who appeared to be Salvadorans, covered in MS-13 tattoos, she said, this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people. Why are there people in there that didn't commit a crime against the American people? They're already going against what they say. Why? Because they can't get on the same page. Why? Because this is thrown together with scotch tape and paper mache. That's why. It's a first draft. Andri's American lawyers are caught in something of a paradox. They're vocal about sharing the details of his disappearance, because if he fades from the news, his situation may grow even more dire. Yet Andri is also an asylum seeker. Disclosing the full identity of someone fleeing persecution is inherently risky. One evening, while I was talking with one of his lawyers, or one of his attorneys, Lindsay, good luck with that, the president of the Immigrant Defenders Law Center, CBS News published a full list of the 238 Venezuelans deported to El Salvador. I had spent nights looking at his Instagram pictures thinking, how can something like this happen to him? She told me. But at the same time, I felt like we couldn't share that information. When the list was published, it was inevitable that those pictures would be out there. She and her colleagues had debated whether disclosing that Andri was gay would make him a target inside the Salvadoran prison. They decided it was pointless to try to hide it, and that maybe it would make the public more sympathetic to his case. Ordinarily, this would be a conversation they could have had with Andri. Under the circumstances, all they could do was discuss it with his mother. She told them, do exactly everything you can to get him out of there. Shit. On March 21st, Times published a report by Philip Holsinger, an American photojournalist who gained access to the Salvadorian prison when the Venezuelans first arrived. In the story, he describes someone roughly resembling Andri. One young man sobbed when a guard pushed him to the floor, Holsinger wrote. He said, "I am not a gang member. I'm gay. I'm a barber." The description went on. He began to whimper, folding his hands in prayer. He was slapped. The man asked for his mother, then buried his face in his chained hands and cried as he was slapped again. What are you doing to people? What are you doing to people? People that don't deserve it, people that committed no crimes, people that got a crown for his mama and his daddy. Like, what are we talking about here? On social media, people connected this account with the photos that the attorney had shared of Andri. The attorney told me that it seemed unlikely Andri would have described himself as a barber. But was it possible, in addition to a gay makeup artist, the Trump administration had just deported a gay hairdresser? Wait, what? He's just a makeup artist? He's not a barber? What are we talking about here? The attorney told me that it seemed unlikely Andri would have described himself as a barber. But was it possible that in addition to a gay makeup artist, the Trump administration had just deported a gay hairdresser? One user on X posted a photo of Andri alongside a photo by Holsinger of a Venezuelan prisoner getting his head shaved. The first photo is of a young Venezuelan named Andres, a 23-year-old gay makeup artist, the person wrote. Andri is 31, a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security quoted the post and responded, "No DHS intelligent assessments go well beyond just gang affiliate tattoos. This man's social media indicates he is a member of Tren de Aragua." Prove it. You didn't prove it, you didn't show nobody. Why? Because there's no due process. What the fuck are we talking about? The residents of Capacho have been holding regular vigils for Andri, and they've recorded videos of spirited pleas to release him. Caldenas, the head of the Three Kings Festival, begged Bukiak directly, calling Andri a great talent of our town. And the gatherings, many people turned out wearing costumes from the festival. Andri's full name is ubiquitous in the Spanish language coverage. Online, there are already dozens of photos, not just of him, but of his old neighbors and friends, filling the streets before the local church. In one of them, Andri's mother and father are standing next to three men in festival garb, holding signs of conscience, justice, and liberty. On each of their heads is a crown. No mama's way.
No mommy's way.
Disgusting. If you defend that, say, "Oh, well, people just try to get themselves out of stuff." I'm hearing multiple cases in the first batch of people that y'all took. Multiple cases of y'all just snatching somebody off the street that had nothing to do with none of the shit that should have them in that prison. They shouldn't be in the Cook County jail. They shouldn't be in the LA County jail. They should have been sent to wherever you wanted to send them as far as the deportation, send them back to their country. Done deal. But to put them in a prison and you're not telling nobody why, and we're getting reports that you got the wrong guy, unacceptable. Fuck you. Right? Salutes to y'all. Honey's up in the chat for y'all. I'm going to get to the chat now. That was a lot of reading. I just read for like an hour straight. We never even got through the Big U paperwork party. Shit. It's not enough me. I want to start a GoFundMe. A GoFundMe that'll, I could build a clone of myself. An AI clone. Yeah, good luck with that. Nothing to see here, folks. Fact shy. Remember the conversation we had where I said even one wrong person was way too many? Well, guess what? They did it. They did it just like that. One wrong person. Mike got 2 wrong persons. Mike got 3. No, for sure there's 1. For sure. Might not be none of the ones we talked about, but there's no way that there's not 1. But I think there's multiple on the first trip. First 3 planes. Shout out Deb Heiser on the check-in. I'm here late, but here. Hope all is well. Shine chat. Salutes to you, Deb. Appreciate you. All right. Salutes, Velez. What are you talking about? Duck walked him. The gay barber from California that was a wanted fugitive in Franklin, Enrique Salceno. He allegedly had over 25 victims. Not the same guy. Not what we're talking about. Different guy. Yeah, this is a different guy, Velez, also from the guy that we talked about yesterday. Upper echelon. They dropped the ball, bro. The scotch tape in the cardboard, it's raining on it, shit's falling apart. Yes, I get that. I'm just sharing since it's really... Oh, okay. Different guy, Mike. Okay, salutes. JP, am I allowed to take part in class today? Shout out Ricky Bobby on the check-in. Shout out Velez. See, did I ever make it to the bottom? Shout out William Borden. Darkly Noon. Don't forget... He runs the show too. If not, ask Trompito. I don't know what that means. Me jodí yo. No, if no criminal record, no Con Air flight. What are we doing? What are we doing? Pressure on, God bless you and the family. That being said, Orange Man. And saving 1,000 lives, even at the cost of a few innocent people, fucking blows. USA departures happening all day, every day. U.S. Express, it happens every day. He was more safe in Chile, man. Shout out Young Jizzo on the check-in. Appreciate you, sir. Shout out Nathaniel's Adventures. Salutes. TDA is Bartel. Everybody's the Bartel nowadays. Now, you know how El Mayo felt. I thought about that. I said, was El Mayo the inspiration for just putting people on a plane against everybody's orders and just crossing them over? Seems like it. Then that I was running Chicago. I ain't seen nobody running shit over here. I'm disappointed in Gaines, Colorado, for letting them act like they're... Listen, Tren de Agua is not running Chicago, bro. I don't know where you from, but that ain't it. Shy, having tattoos and being an immigrant is a modern version of Hitler wanting blonde hair and blue eyes. Trump may want people to look certain claims. He want everybody to look like his goofy ass time traveling son. Shout out Deb Heiser. Shout out Zoraida on the check-in. Hola Shy, busy morning. Tarde pero ya llegué. Thank you, Jonathan, for reminding me what time it was. Salute Zoraida, appreciate you. Robert said, get pulled over and you're just a little too brown with a couple of shitty tattoos. El Salvador for you, bro. What? That shit's crazy. They just throw your ass over to El Salvador. No love in the caddy. All right, boom. Yeah, no, it's despicable, bro. This shit is despicable. Nasty. Nasty, nasty work by the United States government. Now, I want to show you some pictures. I'm not going to read this shit. I'm gonna show y'all some pictures though. I'm pretty sure, man. Just for a photo op, they said throw whatever brownies you can in the back of that plane. Let's get them out of here. Let's get this photo op. Get the best photographers over there with the biggest 18K cameras. All right. I'm looking at this one. I'm looking for a specific picture. There's a picture of the tattoos that Andri has, and guess what? I'm not sure you could tell me that it's not Andri because it seems to have his name on this. Or you know what? This is not from this facility, probably. Okay, that makes sense. All right, this is basically the same story. I'm not reading all this shit. It's shorter, but I ain't reading that shit. But I'm looking for a specific picture. It's probably from one of his immigration stays before he was sent off. Now, from this image, told U.S. agents he was fleeing persecution stemming from his sexual orientation. All right. I think this is a picture of him. Utah, my brother, where we have 7 wives. How many can you afford? How many you got? Shy, man, you said we, so now I'm asking you. Imagine being I was thinking that too, JP. I was looking at what point you got a gangster crown on you, you got a 5-point crown on you, you got a 6-point star on you, you got a 5-point star on you, you got a diamond, you got a pitchfork. At what point you go into a Salvadorian prison for some shit like that? At least he got a free haircut. No mommy's way.
No mommy's way.
Right? This is supposedly a picture of Andri right here. Do we have to put up a poll? Do you guys think that this guy is a criminal or a makeup artist? I don't know if we need a poll. Now, these are pictures of him. This crown tattoo tradition stems from the Three Kings Epiphany commemorations. Right? This is him. Okay? This seems to have his name on the wristband. Right? This says dad with a 5-point crown on top. This says mom, I believe. Yeah, mom with a heart in the middle and an imperial crown on the top. Okay? This is his snake band that he got on the forearm. I believe this is up on his bicep too. Right? Manicured up, skinny, tenderfoot. He don't look like a gang member to me, right? Even if he was a gang member, he don't look like he belong in a Salvadoran super duper max prison. I don't understand what they doing. So, you ain't got nothing else, clean it, hot spoon, burn it, clean it, and get it off of you, because the United States government is being extremely reckless. I guess this is him too, right? In these festivals, right? This guy doesn't look like a guy that and again, not that there's a look, right? Because we go through this with the twins where people say, oh, they don't look like cartel guys or this or that. I don't know which one he is. Is he this one? I don't know. He's in there though. These are the pictures. It looks like they're dropping the ball and they're just taking anybody, and this is dangerous. And guess what? They don't have to acknowledge it if they don't want to. Why? Because everybody's just going to forget about it and we're going to move on to the next tragedy. All right? We was talking about the whole Big Meat situation, what blew that out the water, the Big U situation, and so on and so forth. And the news day changes. Right? While this man cries in the corner, being tortured for the rest of his life, physically manipulated. You know, whether you think there's something funny in that or that's what he wants, it is nah, man. He don't belong there. Anybody else, the dude that if they didn't have no criminal records and they were just supposed to be deported, I don't understand what they're doing in that jail. I don't get it. This sounds like bullshit. All right. Have you ever been to Utah? No, sir. I was watching a playlist. That guy who said he was a Chicago cop peed in the ice cooler. Oh, yeah. Snake band is la onda. Toda madre un desmadre. Shia, do you think females will ever set foot on CSOT since a lot of them are fully tatted now these days? No, pretty soon it's going to be for anything, bro. They're going to give you less and less reason why they're going to throw your ass in that CSOT. Huh? They're going to give you every reason why they're going to throw you in that CSOT. They're out of pocket. They just, numbers, throw them in there. No due process. Fuck that judge. No U-turns in the sky. Drop them off. Oh, man, we made a mistake. Yeah, that was an error. Can you get them back? No. We're not going to keep admitting that we made this mistake over and over and over and over again. Why? Because then they're going to shut down our operation. Well, maybe that operation should be shut the fuck down. Maybe you jumped the gun. That's like saying, termination, unaliving, extermination sentence for all rug dealers. Come on, are you stupid? Huh? Are you stupid? If serial unalivers are sitting on death row for how many 30, 40 years? Huh? If people who take other people's lives and it's not a self-defense situation, if they don't get out, you going to take a rug dealer? Come on, man. You're just going to throw these laws into place and just start snatching people and throwing them in this prison? Remember, they're building more. You don't build something unless you're going to fill that shit up. Huh? I got tattoos. At what point do my tattoos get me thrown in there? At what point does my opinion get me thrown in there? Oh, willy-nilly. No, no due process. That operation should be called the flight of no return. Bruh, it's the end. It's the end. You fall into a bottomless pit. They're going to expand it. They're not only going to expand it, but they're going to expand it to other countries. Huh? They're going to expand it to other countries. They're going to expand it to other jungles. It's crazy. So all of that, this is good, and we're being soft on the bad guy shit. Miss me with that shit. I don't hear motherfuckers defending that shit now. Fuck out of here. It's dirty. It's filthy. You got little soft-ass, pussy-ass Andre getting smacked the fuck up in a Salvadoran prison. Don't even know why the fuck he's there. Just trying to have, asylum to the U.S. Nope. Crazy talk. Crazy talk. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I'm telling you, my brain is not shooting off correctly today. All right, boom. But we in this bitch. Maybe it's the high quality sacred plant. Let's get it. All right. Next on the agenda, what we got here? I'd rather be sent to an all-female prison in Colombia. Bro. Buddy over there on the floor screaming, I'm a gay barber. Like, that's fucked, bro. That's fucked. Imagine. And here's the thing, like, the government don't have to admit they fucked up and bring you back. That's so crazy. And do they care about black and brown pressure? No. They never have. That's crazy. I don't get it. But let's get to this real quick. I want to read this. Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, it's short. I can get that. Everybody seems to be starting a special forces. right? We heard that the Chapitos and the CJNG got together and created a special forces. And now we got Mexico's Secretary of Security, Harfuk, quietly formed UNO, an elite federal police force to take on the cartels. He's spending more money on gangs. Hit the like button, y'all. 6 years ago, Mexico's president disbanded the country's federal police and handed security responsibilities fully to the military. Now, his successor has quietly begun to build an elite civilian investigative and special operations force to fight the drug cartels. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum had already shown a willingness early in her presidency to move away from the former president Andrés Manuel Obrador's oft-criticized hugs, not bullets strategy. It focused on addressing the social roots of crime rather than directly confronting Mexico's powerful cartels. Sheinbaum's security chief, Omar Garcia Harfuch, is drawing on his law enforcement contacts, mostly from the former ranks of the federal police, to claw back security capabilities from the armed forces with the civilian force under his direct command. The government has yet to formally announce the new Unidad.
You never play me, nice try. Ballin' in a nice spot. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Hello, Mr. Nice Watch.
Jonathan Pantria sent $3. It used to be ink my whole body. I don't get give a moth fuck looks like in 2025 that's changing. Fuck Donald Trump, the fucked up system, love and prayers to the oppressed and innocent victims. Fuck the Bartles and Bartel nut-hugging trolls.
Shout out JP. All right, for the $3 power chat. It used to be ink my whole body. I don't give a fuck what a motherfucker looks like in 2025. That's changing. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck the fucked up system. Love and prayers to the oppressed and innocent victims. Fuck the Bartels and Bartel nut hugging trolls. Fuck them all, bro. Salute. Shout out JP. Appreciate you, sir. Yeah, man. Fuck them all. The government has yet to formally announce the new Unidad Nacional de Operaciones, known by its Spanish initials UNO. But its existence is an open secret among former members of the federal police, where Garcia Harfuch started his career. 3 Mexican officials, all of whom requested anonymity to speak about the still unannounced force, confirmed its existence to the Associated Press. Security analyst David Salcedo, who has spoken with people who have joined the force, said he believes Garcia Harfuch's main objective is to have an armed force that allows him to meet demands from Washington. So they're building an army predicated on the pressure that the United States government is tariffing upon their ass. UNO. The unit began to form shortly after Sheinbaum took office. It now has 250 members and hopes to have 800 by the end of the year, said one federal official who is familiar with many of the unit's details. On Monday, while Garcia Harfuch was in Washington meeting with the Trump administration, the Security Ministry published a call for college graduates to make up the first generation of investigative and intelligence agents, only saying they will be part of a specialized group to strengthen the country's security. UNO will have 3 branches distributed geographically across Mexico, as well as a high-impact team that will be the elite of the elite, the federal official said. Its current members are mostly former federal police and members of the Special Operations Team Garcia Harfuch created when he was Mexico City's police chief. Most have previously received training from security forces from the United States, Colombia, Spain, or France. His challenge is rebuilding the trust of his U.S. counterparts after López Obrador limited U.S. agents' movements in Mexico, and do it as President Donald Trump pressures Mexico to step up the fight against Fetty Wap trafficking. Listen, puro responses to pressure. That's all that shit is, all right? Responses to pressure. Federal police disbanded under AMLO. Shortly after taking office, López Obrador replaced the federal police with the new force, the National Guard, that he sold to the public as civilian, but that was always led by and made up of armed forces. He lambasted the federal police as too corrupt to save and made Mexico's former security chief, Genaro Garcia Luna, then facing trial in the U.S. and eventually convicted of working for the Sinaloa cartel, the poster child. He cut funding for training and equipping local police. What followed were 6 years of what critics decreed as militarization that effectively concentrated unprecedented authority in the hands of the armed forces. Despite that, levels of violence remained stubbornly high, and critics said that the cartels grew stronger, fueled by soaring revenue from FEDIWAP. One of the main criticisms of the National Guard and military was that while they had numbers and firepower, they did not have the investigative skills needed to dismantle large criminal organizations. Harfouk was initially a toothless tiger who was frequently denied resources, information, and investigative files by other security entities, said Salcedo. Based in Guanajuato State, Mexico's most violent, UNO puts an elite force under his direct command. The Mexican federal official denied that UNO's objective was to satisfy Trump.
No.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. All right? All right? The Mexican federal officials denied that UNO's objective was to satisfy Trumpito. Wrong. I don't believe you. Sending those troops to the border to satisfy Trumpito. Sending those extraditions to satisfy Trumpito. Getting in them talks to build these super prisons to satisfy Trumpito. That's to keep the tariffs off your ass. But noted that the unit was involved in the unprecedented delivery of 29 high-profile cartel figures to the United States at the height of negotiations between the two countries to suspend threatened tariffs. They were pulled out of prisons all over Mexico. Get them now. Put them in a bag now. Assembled and sent to the U.S. without incident. The challenge: avoid corruption. Special operations forces, be it from the Navy, Army, Federal Police, or State Police, have a checkered history in Mexico, having been involved in many scandals and abuses of power, extrajudicial unalivings, and infiltration by cartels. There have been a lot of cases that were bad, said the previously quoted federal official, who added that there were also honest police. He said that the security ministry is emphasizing stricter screening, exhaustive background investigation, and better pay once they're in. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Garcia Harfouk's influence also extends to the states where Cytobomb Party holds no power. People he trusts are taking key security positions, and UNO will train state special operations teams that are also made up of many former federal police. Are we going to be hearing about the UNO cartel in the next 20 years? The southern state of Chiapas, where Mexico's most powerful cartels are battling for control of smuggling routes, announced a special operations force in December called the Pacal with some 500 members. 2 members told the AP they were ex-federal police and did 8 months of specialized training to join the Pacal. But doubts remain. For Salcedo, since the new elite force doesn't yet have effective internal controls and accountability mechanisms. So nobody wants any more accountability mechanisms. None of that shit. Right? Since the new elite force doesn't yet have effective internal controls and accountability mechanisms, there's no guarantee that this elite group won't commit the excesses committed by other special operations groups and become el cartel del uno. Right? They got to keep that shit from becoming a cartel. You know what I mean? Period. Right? So, what do y'all think? Y'all think that turns into a cartel in 20 years? Damn, it's like we went from shitting on Trump to not hungry Trump and Elon Musk. Oh, that barber might have just found himself in paradise. I don't know, Papas. I said that. I threw that joke in there because I said some people might take that as a joke, but, you know, I think he'd much rather be consensually doing his thing outside. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think they're going to be able to get to him like that there anyway. Like, that prison seems like sit your ass still for the rest of your life. I don't know. From what I've seen of it. Everything out in the open. They don't got nothing. I don't know. I gotta watch a deep dive into that prison. Let's see. Salutes. All right. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. But yeah, so Harfouk is building a police force, y'all. Let's hope that police force stays legal eagle. And, you know, doesn't become a criminal organization itself. But wasn't like Zetas something like that? Hasn't that happened before? I think there was a guy online they let in to take a tour. Yeah, I want to see that. I'd like to react to it. I don't know if they'll clap me for it though, but I'd like to see like how they run it on a daily, like. But I don't know, man. Dude ain't got no business in that prison. I'll tell you that. Not just him, Albert. A whole bunch of people I think have no business in that prison right now. And guess what? I don't think they're coming back. I don't think the president's gonna succumb to that pressure. We'll see. All right. Let's get to old girl. All right. The scallywag that called 911. She just happened to go live yesterday to give her side of the story. All right. I was out running errands. I was listening to her side of the story, so now I'm going to listen to it with y'all, because this is some bullshit. And it's just the same as anything else. Just a lack of accountability and the lack of smarts. We think everybody's smart. Nah, there's a lot of stupid motherfuckers out here. You can't convince them they stupid motherfuckers, but you have to deal with them if you know you're not a stupid motherfucker. Does that make sense? Period. All right, let me see. I'm looking for... So I believe Zetas were former armed forces who wanted that come up, but I believe Mencho was in a similar situation. That's why he's great at taking down planes. I don't doubt it. No, Zoraida. Calm down. I think JP was saying, ask Mike Lopez to help y'all get to the all-female prison in Colombia, or am I wrong? It's like, well, let me see. Let me see if I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, Zoraida. He's asking you to help him and Mike get to the Colombian prison. Y'all better relax, Zoraida. Put y'all motherfuckers in the bathroom.
Put him in the fucking bed, you might.
Terrorists start today? Oh, no. It's a problem for pinche tariffs. 1 second. There we go. So at some point, someone on the internet recognized her voice, put her on blast. Let's get it.
I just recognized who voice that is calling the police on young Scooter. It's this whole Demi. Her name on Instagram is @DemiBlanco. Y'all go, hey man, man, her name Demi. She the one.
Demi Blanco is her name.
Pretending to be the neighborhood watch. This hoe ain't no neighborhood watch. This neighborhood ain't even got no neighborhood watch. Man, y'all, man, find this reporter.
She changed her name to try to hide.
Okay, so boom, buddy blew her up right there. Then she went on live to try to explain herself, when clearly she should have shut her ass up.
I'm not looking for any type of clout. I just want to put the truth out. The situation is that I was being beaten by an individual that was connected to the person that I'm not going to say the name. And I was there.
She's saying she's not going to say Scooter's name. Right? I was abused. I was beaten by somebody who was there. By somebody who was there.
And the person was continuously beating me as he's already done this before. And me being a...
Sounds like circle talk to me. He's been beating you, so what? Why you ain't called the police when he was beating on you? Huh? Or are you just telling us he was beating on you, so because that's the only smartest excuse you could think of for why you did what you did, and now somebody's dead over it, or terminated over it, or unalived over it, or whatever the fuck this fucking platform allows me to say. Right? Oh, he beat me. Okay. Why you didn't lock him up? She's not smart. And then she's saying, oh, you people saying I set up dude, young Scooter. No, it wasn't to set up young Scooter. It was to set up someone. It was to set up dude. Shit backfired on you. You sound stupid.
Female, I was there. The person that being beaten by... I want to put the truth out.
It's her explanation.
I'm not looking for any type of clout. I just want to put the truth out. The situation is that I was being beaten by an individual that was connected to the person that I'm not going to say the name. And I was there, and the person was continuously beating me as he's already done this before.
She's just, as he's already done this before. You were there, I was there, and he was just beating me. There's some women out there that have gotten to the point of this is their out in life for everything. It's to make up some shit.
And me being a female, I was afraid for my life.
So she starts it off.
Okay? She's afraid for her life. Trying to skip the commentary and get to the...
intentions.
Story.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day one, he would install Pi on his computer without spending.
So I did what I thought was the best thing to do. I had no intentions that man was there. I never set anybody up.
What you mean you never set anybody up? It's exactly what you did. You didn't call the police and say this man has been beating me for so many years and blah, 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 blah. You didn't say none of that. You said everything that you could say that was going on in the house. 7 guys with hammers. Underage woman being abused. Naked. Outside. She called people that it was a shootout. All of these things. There was a child in there. That they were selling rugs out of there. They was trafficking people. That's all setting that guy up. You're hiding behind it because people are saying you set up young Scooter. So you're like, well, I didn't set him up. No, but that's what happened. Yeah, but I ain't set him up. I ain't said no one. No, but that's what happened though. No, but and this is some people you just can't talk to. Some people are so unaccountable and have never been held accountable that you can't talk to them. She sound like one of those. I didn't set nobody up. You clearly did. You clearly told a big ass, long ass lie all over the internet. I mean, all over 911. Worse than the internet. Fuck the internet.
I never had any intentions that man was there. I never knew that man was there. I had no idea of that man's.
That man, any man, Scooter or anybody else. Any man. What you're saying right now is irrelevant and it means nothing. You're just trying to get people, you're trying to pull at people's heartstrings. You're trying to pull at people's heartstrings and say abuse and this and that, the other. You watered down abuse. You don't give a fuck about abused women. Any of you women out there that even if you were abused, if you used it as an excuse for some other shit, fuckery that you did, you don't care about other abused women. I'm telling you right now, you don't. Because you watered it all down by doing shit like this. That's what it is. Toxica face.
Whereabouts. there. I never had any intentions that that man was there. I never knew that that man was there. I had no idea of that man's whereabouts.
So
I'm speaking today to clear my name that I had no intentions to set anybody up.
there's lessons to be learned in this. Teach these to your young daughters that are into the drama, that love to hear everybody arguing, that love to be into it with their friends. Nip that shit in the bud. Let's talk about real shit. Let's talk about culture. Nip that shit in the bud. Because then they turn into this dumb bitch. Plenty of lessons to be learned here.
Never set anybody up. I was threatened by individual. There's a reaction for every action. This is part A. You guys didn't have part A. You guys only had part B.
Part B was all bullshit. Part A sound like the same bullshit. It sounds like you've been a compulsive liar your whole life. Good luck with that.
In the narrative, it looks like I was trying to set this man up because
and people love using the word like narrative. This is all double, triple talk. This is how all these people talk now. This generation, everything is what is it? Everything is like I'm gonna manipulate you with this. I'm gonna manipulate you with this. I'm not gonna take accountability for that. We're gonna change the names of things. I'm not tired. I'm energy poor. What the fuck are we talking about here? The narrative, clout chasing, gaslighting, miss me with the horse. What the fuck? Actively gaslighting. She's actively gaslighting, and would accuse somebody else of running with a narrative. You are creating narratives, and you're running off talking about somebody got a narrative. What are we talking about here?
I had no intentions to set anybody up. I never set anybody up. I was threatened by individual. There's a reaction for every action. This is part A. You guys didn't have part A. You guys only had part B. In the narrative, it looks like I was trying to set this man up because you guys don't have part B. I'm giving you part B. I'm giving you what led up to the call. I was physically abused, so I called to protect myself. That's the...
What? What? You did what? The fuck are you talking about? You made a fake call from for the police to go to a place that you weren't even at to protect yourself? Why you didn't do it when he was whooping you? Why you didn't do it right when he left? Or was Whack 100 right and you just didn't get invited to the party?
That's the issue.
She's literally still...
Let me see. I think that's it. As far as her audio goes. Let me see what this is.
Part A.
You lied. Admit it.
That's part A. I never had any intentions to get anybody hurt.
That's another one. I never had intentions. Listen. I doused it in gasoline. I threw an open Zippo lighter at it. I didn't intend it to burn down the whole building. And this is the logic that this generation, this internet generation, is coming with. All day long. All day long. So there's going to be more and more women like this. This the internet
I was
generation.
the one that was getting hurt.
Admit it.
That's part A. I never had any intentions to get anybody hurt. I was the one that was getting hurt. And I came here to say my truth. That's it. That's all. I don't want no clout. I don't want anything.
She's saying all of the things that these kids say my truth and that ain't no my truth, bitch. The truth is, young Scooter, of instinct, of maybe he has something on him, of whatever, for whatever reason, ran out of that place, ripped an artery, he gone now. Because you want to fuck around on the phone. Because you want to be a toxic bitch on the phone.
All these no clout. I don't want anything. All these troll pages, y'all don't know me. None of y'all know me at all. At the end of the day, I'm a woman, and I was physically abused multiple times.
Her attempting to galvanize various communities around.
I think that's it. Right? Boom. So, let's see what else I got here. Let's watch a news story on it. Let me go through the chat real quick. Saw the guy that went to prison. Terrorists start today. Look, I got him. The jail is the point. That jail is the point of no return. Facts. It's the bottom of the barrel. Shout out Pure Art on the check-in. Do your job. Do your job, Pure Art. Stay safe. Right? VIPs. Salutes to you. Glad to see you in the chat. Blah, blah, blah. Y el Rocha.
Oye, y el Rocha.
Well, we ain't heard shit from El Rocha.
Bueno, y el Rocha.
Nothing. Demi Blanco, where she got that last name from? Unless she has Caribbean ties. She got pendejale ties. She got stupid bitch ties. Bitch, you still lying. Are you stupid? Does anything come out your mouth and make any kind of sense? The answer is no, pendeja. She tweaked. The difference is that Cassie has proof. This bitch is just lying out of her ass. Here's the thing. Even if she was being abused, you weren't being abused at that moment. You were placing a fake 911 call that ended in a man being terminated. You know what I mean? Your actions led to that. You could have sat your ass down. I don't think that's a real name unless that's her stage name. We'll find out in the news right now. Wasn't she on a reality TV show? She was. She got smacked up on there. At the end of the day, you are lying. Indeed she is. All right, let's check out a newscast about this shit.
Architecture and interior design? Find a 3D designer today.
Tonight, a 911 call is raising more questions in the death of Atlanta rapper Young Scooter.
So Atlanta police just released that 10-minute call, hoping to identify the woman on that line. The call led officers to a home on William Nye Drive in the Lakewood Heights neighborhood in southeast Atlanta. Officers say Young Scooter ran from the home. They say that he sustained injuries to his leg while running and later died at Grady Hospital.
11 Live's Cody Alcorn is live tonight from Atlanta Police Headquarters in downtown Atlanta. And Cody, you have been following the story since it broke on Friday night. What are some of the red flags that you hear when you listen to this 911 call?
Well, Jennifer and Ron, the woman on this call, claims that there were 7 men at this home. She says that she heard 3 shots fired. She even says that the woman was naked and had a baby on that scene. However, during a news conference, Atlanta police never mentioned anything about a shooting and say they never found a woman or a baby at that scene.
Atlanta 911 operator 8715. What is the location of your emergency?
Around 5 o'clock, March 29th.
Okay, so I'm the neighborhood watch.
Call 911 reporting a shooting.
There is a...
Here, I'll go back so y'all can see the
Tonight,
visuals.
a 911 call is raising more questions in the death of Atlanta rapper Young Scooter.
So Atlanta police just released that 10-minute call, hoping to identify the woman on that line. The call led officers to a home on William Nye Drive in the Lakewood Heights neighborhood in southeast Atlanta. Officers say Young Scooter ran from the home. They say that he sustained injuries to his leg while running and later died at Grady Hospital.
11 Live's Cody Alcorn is live tonight from Atlanta Police Headquarters in downtown Atlanta. And Cody, you have been following the story since it broke on Friday night. What are some of the red flags that you hear when you listen to this 911 call?
Well, Jennifer and Ron, the woman on this call, claims that there were 7 men at this home. She says that she heard 3 shots fired. She even says that the woman was naked and had a baby on that scene. However, during a news conference, Atlanta police never mentioned anything about a shooting and say they never found a woman or a baby at that scene.
Atlanta 911, operator 8715. What is the location of your emergency?
Around 5 o'clock, March 29th.
Okay, so I'm the neighborhood watch.
Call 911 reporting a shooting.
There is literally a whole domestic dispute going on. There's like 7 guys that live in this house.
A few seconds later, telling the dispatcher the guys are selling drugs out of the home.
All you see is guys coming in and out of the house with guns and stuff.
Then claiming a naked woman was thrown outside.
It sounded like they were fighting over drugs. And then they started shooting.
The dispatcher questions the caller.
Bruh, this chick should write scripts and shit. You know what I'm saying? To take a little bit more thought, you know, because she did say that she caught some people over there and they had a shootout. Why the fuck she still there then? You know what I mean? Like, but she's just imagining all kind of stupid shit.
Urban
Shots
area.
were fired.
I would say 3. It was 3 shots.
When did it happen?
It's happening now.
Then sends Grady EMS to the scene.
The girl is hurt because she was like bleeding profusely, like blood everywhere.
Do you see or hear anything else?
She was bleeding profusely. Gaslighting. She was running a narrative.
Yeah, she's trying to get away and they're holding her. She's being held hostage.
A few minutes later, on the line with first responders, the caller adds a child to the situation.
She ran outside naked, bleeding from her face, and there was a baby involved.
This call sparked the chain of events that ultimately led to the death of Kenneth Bailey, better known as rapper Young Scooter. APD Homicide Commander Lieutenant Andrew Smith describes what happened once officers got on scene.
They knocked on the door. A male opened the door and immediately shut the door on the officers. During the process of establishing the perimeter, 2 males fled out of the rear of the house.
One of those males being Young Scooter.
Jumped 2 fences as he was fleeing. When officers located him on the other side of the fence, it appears that there was, when he fell, some type of fracture injuries to the leg, which caused the bleeding.
That 911 call originally went to DeKalb County and then was transferred to Atlanta Police. And you might be asking yourself at home, why can't they just trace that phone call? Well, Atlanta Police say it was made on a 911 only phone, basically meaning that they didn't have a call plan on this phone. So the dispatcher could not call this woman back. They could not trace the phone. And the 911 national program says oftentimes these phones are used in pranks and to make these fake 911 calls. So again, APD is trying to figure out why this woman called 911 and what she actually saw and the reasoning behind it. So if anyone recognizes that woman's voice, you are urged to call APD.
Let's get it. That's not her real name. Mike, I think her name is Demetria Williams. I don't know. Let me see. But I am. Oh no, it's Demetria Spence. Here we go. Got him. Wait, this is what I want to see. I want to see the arrest. Oh, here we go. Got him.
We turn now to that breaking news.
Shout out HG on the check-in. Salutes. Can she be held responsible for the fake 911 call and the unalive? That's what I'm saying. They already got her. She's going to get popped for the fake 911 call. There is a charge for that, right? But I don't know that they're going to add that. I don't know that they're going to add what happened to him onto that. Which, you know, that's what she should get. But they're not going to uphold that. They're going to say, nah. You know, they're going to say, what he running for? So, it's what it is. Shout out HG. Yeah, she added trafficking underage women too. Shout out Ron's other alter ego. Salutes to you. Impossible to break your femur from a 6-7 foot drop. They wildin'. Your thigh bone is the strongest bone in your body. That motherfucker breaks though. And what's the fence look like? And did his shit get jammed in there and caught in there? And did his body weight go back and snap his shit? Like, listen, and those what's it called? Those compound fractures. That's an ugly thing, breaking that skin. But salutes to Ron's other alter ego. Salutes to the chat. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming through. Get some fucking bow. Salutes. But I haven't gotten into that part yet, and I haven't heard the coroner's description and none of that shit. So we're gonna see. Did they push him over that fence? Did they? I don't think they busted at him. Also, body cam's gonna tell a story if we get that. We'll see. We starting with this dumb bitch though. Dumb bitch go first.
We turn now to that breaking news in Atlanta. Police say the 911 call that led to the death of rapper Young Scooter was a lie. Police arrested the woman who made that 911 call earlier tonight.
Fox 5's Tom Haynes joins us with the details. Tom, what are we finding out?
Well, startling development considering the context of that call, Courtney and Russ. Atlanta police officers say that took the 31-year-old Demetria Spence into custody.
Stick around. We're going to look at her mugshot after this. And there's another lesson to be learned right there. All right? We're going to talk about it.
Within the last few hours, investigators now say that 911 call led to the death of 39-year-old rapper Young Scooter. This all started Friday in southeast Atlanta, where investigators say Spence told 911 operators there was something seriously wrong at a home on William Nye Drive. In audio obtained by Fox 5, Spence claims a woman with a child was bleeding and shots were fired.
I think you guys should get here quick because
guys gotta hurry up. You guys gotta hurry up. I just saw Hunter Biden walk into the apartment where these guys are. You guys gotta hurry up.
Really hitting her, and it's a child involved. This girl doesn't have.
I doxed him with her mugshot. IP2 logic. No, there's a lesson to be learned in the mugshot. All right, there's a lesson to be learned in the mugshot. All right, it's that I'm gonna get you sucker moment. All right, you tell me if you got that. You know what I'm saying? Let me know, Ron.
Or any clothes. They threw her outside. He was fighting the girl.
Police now say Spence made that call from a 911 only phone, and it was a lie. When officers got to the home, they say the two men ran out the back door. One of those men was rapper Young Scooter, whose real name is Kenneth Bailey. Police say Bailey injured himself jumping over a fence, and today the medical examiner ruled Bailey died from a penetrating injury to his right thigh. They say that his death was accidental. APD has stressed that social media posts claim Bailey was shot by officers. Well, that's false.
And listen, man, that shooting shit, and Thug said it too, that's just too easy to disprove. You know, again, it could be, it's kind of the reason why they didn't send, a whole bunch of units with their hammers out to that location. Old girl told them there was a shootout. They didn't believe her. They didn't believe it because nobody else called about no gunshots. Whether the police shot, whether they shot, somebody else besides this fucking dimwit is going to call about the gunshots. Nobody did, evidently.
The department has insisted no officers fired their weapons at the scene. Demetria Spence is now charged with transmitting a false
This guy just gave up. He don't give a fuck no more. He like, man, fuck the tie. I'm not going to tuck my shit in. Give a shit.
Alarm. She's being held in the Fulton County Jail. Meantime, APD has not provided a motive for that call. But
the motive is, she said dude was smacking her up at some past time in some past place that ain't had shit to do with what was happening in that house that day. And, she got dudes mulo punctured and shit. Wildin'.
Aftermath of what happened after that call was placed, someone wound up losing their life.
Yeah, a surprising turn of events with this situation. Tom, thanks.
Sure.
Thanks, Tom. For more on young Scooter's death, head to fox5atlanta.com and the Fox Local app. You can listen to the full 911 call and get updates on the
We
investigation.
didn't heard her stupid ass tell that story, and the reason she told that story is all bullshit. Shout out HG. Yeah, super calm and vindictive. I will never understand the Atlanta Police Department. Every few blocks, the colors of the vehicles are different. The law is probably different. The age of consent probably different. In every municipality and shit. I'm sure they have those shot spotters out in ATL. I mean, somebody else was going to hear the shots other than the dumb bitch lying on the phone, is my point. You know what I mean? If you're going to try to convince me that you know, now if you got proof and you could tell me that, you show me that, you know, somebody else called the police station and said, man, they shooting out there. There was no shooting the first time, no shooting the second time. She said, yeah, she's naked. They got her outside. They're abusing her. He's beating her. And she called some people and they had a shootout. Where the people at? Why is she still there if she called some people? What are you talking about? They didn't believe you. You was too dumb for your own good. You should have kept there trolling to the fucking internet. Goofy bitch. All right? But some of us, some of y'all, got sisters like that, cousins like that. Right? The bitch that'll tell a story, get motherfucking trouble. Nah, it's dangerous. But there is a lesson to be learned here, all right? The lesson is this. The chick you went home with that night, leaving the bar, the club, the gig, whatever, might not be the chick you wake up to in the morning. It's the mug shot right there.
No, mommy's wake.
It's the mug shot right there, right? Little Schmeagle looking bitch. Alright? The chick, this is, I'm gonna get you, I believe it was I'm gonna get you sucker. I'm gonna get you sucker. They were ahead of their time. They knew what it was. The chick that you go home with that night might not be the motherfucker you come back with or you wake up to in the morning, alright? Salutes. That's it. That's all I wanted to do. That's it. Ron, I kept it light. I mean, that's what it is. Shout out Beatrice Kiddo. My God. You can hear the doubt in the 911 operator's voice. Oh, yeah. She was going to send the unit over there, but she wasn't going to wild the fuck out and, you know, send cars, you know, with sirens blaring and shit. See, I kept it light. Ego. Kept that shit light, man. Little Schmeagle over here. Right? Kept it light. Never claimed to be. Salutes. But there it is. There it is.
If you can pull it up,
so again,
maybe we can.
I'm pretty sure they're going to get her. I mean, they're definitely going to get her on the 911 call. But I don't know that they could even connect her to him. That'd be a slippery slope right there. I don't know. Shout out HG. Salutes. Right? Let's see what else we got over here, man. She look like the worm from Men in Black. The one in the middle. Eh? She looking crazy, boy. I'm telling you. You go home, you go home, you lay down with this right here. You wake up to this, man, you put him in the fucking bed. No problem.
Put him in a fucking bed.
But she's, guess what? Even uglier inside, though. She's even uglier inside. She threw every filthy crime you could throw. The only thing she didn't say was like, they just kicked the old lady in the teeth. The old lady was walking by while they was shooting at each other and they kicked the old lady's teeth in. That's the only thing she didn't say. They should arrest on pure underrated ugliness. Listen here. All of those cool pictures and all of that Instagram shit and them soft filters. Fuck out of my face with that shit, man. Miss me with that shit. Get in the pool, bitch. All right? But she can't get right. She lie about everything. She's the type to go holler at her brother and her uncle because of some shit she did to somebody and then get them smoked. That's the type of motherfucker you're looking at right there. All right? Period. He stuck himself on those metal point fences. Is that what it was? Because that's what it sounded like. Mike Lopez. All right, we're about to go get into that right now because that's what it sounds like. Shout out Oso, Ego. Oh, I wanted y'all to see the video real quick before we go to the before we go to the, I want to see what the fence looked like. I want to see what the autopsy said or whatever. From my understanding, Future's just talking nonsense on the internet, just saying that the cops did it and this and that, and people are assuming that he had his own autopsy team or whatever the fuck. He missed me with the bullshit, man. Missed me with the internet. Fuck out of here. But this is the clip that inspired us looking into the non-banger gay barber that's stuck in the El Salvador prison. This was the clip that came up on my radar last night, and yeah.
You got to get scared that people who are not criminals are getting like lassoed up and deported and sent to like El Salvador prisons, like that kind of shit. Because I read some story. Was it Glenn Greenwald?
It was. Yeah. The gay barber guy. Yeah. It's scary, man.
Is that true? Is that story accurate?
I don't think we know.
Can you explain the story for people that don't know?
Well, from what I read, I think it was in Time magazine, Jamie. If you can pull it up, maybe we can get it accurate. But basically, with a bunch of these Agua guys, allegedly they got at least one guy who wasn't a criminal.
Listen, if you want to test these guys to see if they're Agua guys, right? Smack them in the fucking face. If they pull a machete out their ass and get to whacking at you, they're legit. Put them on the plane, take them to the motherfucking El Salvadoran prison. But if you smack the motherfucker and he falls down on the floor and says, "I'm not a gang member, I'm a gay barber," you might want to leave that guy, give him a little space somewhere and, let him roam. What the fuck are you doing?
Who was just a gay barber who I think, according to the story, came here legally. And I think a human being...
Nah, he wasn't legal because they had him in one of those facilities already. And then they moved him to Texas, and then they took him to the hole in the earth that they created in El Salvador.
Being plucked out of nowhere and ending up in a country he's never been in a maximum security prison with gang members, seems like a bad thing to happen to me.
It's horrific. It's horrific.
I don't think that should be controversial.
No, that's not controversial at all. And this is the thing, measured twice, cut once. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah, Rogan, you done fucked up. I miss when Rogan was not political. When Rogan didn't give a fuck. Miss that, Rogan. But anyway. So yeah. Now let's go look. So anyways, that right there, that's what kicked off the whole thing. And then I found all those other ones. I said, these motherfuckers are sending the wrong people out here every day. Every day they're doing this shit. We thought it was going to take a while before we found our first, falsely accused. 72 hours. You know what I mean? In the time that upper echelon got quiet. The fuck? Let's get it. I want to look into this fence because Eagle is adamant that the femur too thick to snap just like that. But I done seen motherfuckers, you fall fucked up. I mean, I done had people that I know experience, you fall fucked up and shit go left, man. You poke yourself with the fence, shit. That too. And it's never how you see it. All right? I don't know if Ego's still here, but, you ever you gonna go run, you gonna hit that fence, you go, and you see yourself, you're OJ in the fucking Hertz commercial running through the fucking airport, right? And you go to hit that fence and you put your foot up on that, you put your foot up on that bar, but it got a little wetness on it, and your foot loose, and bow, and you on your ass with your legs behind your head. That shit could happen. Snap the shit out your femur. He probably thought he felt like he was in a movie. That shit didn't go as planned. Joe talking about it is crazy. Something might get done now. Shit. You got more hope than me, 298. I don't got no hope that Joe could do shit right now. Yeah, they could. I mean, all right, cool. Let's try an easy one. You ready for an easy one, 298? Get Kane out of jail. Fuck the 15 months or whatever months he got to do. Get him out of jail. If they could pull off that easy one, I believe that they could pull off some shit with getting a fucking gay makeup artist out of Seaside. they sentenced that kid to what could, all he gotta do is fuck up. You know, people still take life with these. You don't necessarily need shanks and all that shit. All right, I want to see young Scooter. I don't even know that they got an autopsy report. Like, the internet just be talking shit. Shy, you give the green light for the fool today. I wasn't in here. Shy, you give the green light for fool. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. You lost me, 298. Let me see. Is there an autopsy accidental? Let's see what this is. Give me a video, though. I done read enough today. Cause.
Tonight we are learning more about what caused rapper Young Scooter's death.
You still awaiting more? Look at the perfect lining on that marker on her forehead.
According to a new report from the Fulton County Medical Examiner, the rapper's death has been ruled an accident. The report states Young Scooter, whose real name is Kenneth Bailey, punctured his right thigh, which led to blood loss. Police say Bailey died Friday night after jumping.
Bro, that's easy. If he didn't snap nothing, if the leg break was just people talking, and all he did was poke himself in the thigh, that's easy, dog. That happens all the time. That's easy. You hit that wet spot on that fence. Lo cagaste.
Yo vivo tranquila con los pelos en el pecho y la casa. ¡Cállate, hipopuerta!
To me, that's easy. Probably still could sue her in civil court. What you gonna get out of that fucking hood booger? The only thing she handed out in the hood is handies and head. Fake fucking phone call. She's a piece of shit. You ain't getting nothing out of her. She called from an out of service phone. 911 only phone. She was bored. She's like, shit, I got one call I can make. I'm gonna call 911 and tell them that the illest trafficking ring ever is happening across the street. That's what she was on. All right? That's what she was on. I think this is an easy answer right here. I think we easily go to the conspiracy theory quickly. I think this is the path of least resistance. You know, water always finds its way. The obvious answer is the best answer. And I believe these fools, who knows why the fuck they were running, police knocked on the door. It's his birthday. He don't want to spend the night in jail on his birthday. He take off running. What's the other guy have to say? The guy that came back in the house. What was the final outcome with him? What did they find in the house? I haven't seen nobody answer these questions. I haven't looked for it. I'm going to check right now. They said 2 ran off. There was 3 altogether. 3 tried to run off. 2 ran off. 1 came back. What happened to the one that came back? What if anything, did they find in the house? Police said a broken femur. The first day. See, now that's strange. If they say they saw a compound fracture and the femur was out. If they just saw mad blood and a busted up leg and they just assume broken, but he don't have to break the bone to break that vein. That's for sure. He could have just fucked up bad. That's a bad fuck up. Well, let me see the press conference again. Again, I couldn't find nothing more than a 2-minute press conference on this shit.
Fence, despite
But I
speculation.
think that's all there was anyway.
The medical examiner says the injury was not a gunshot wound. Police say they responded to a call about a dispute involving a weapon in Lakewood Heights. They say at some point Bailey ran and jumped a fence. Police are still working to identify the woman who made that initial 911 call.
Like, hypothetically.
You know, our own fault, like buying the bill.
Hypothetically. Because we got to see the body cam. We got to see if he was pushed. They ran. What happens, like, police get called to a place and simultaneously me and you just happen to be having a foot race in the backyard? You know what I'm saying? I agree. Getting impaled is way different than a broken bone. I was when I thought of how hard a femur is and how much it takes to break it. In my mind, I thought to myself leverage, and I thought to myself, a foot slides in between a post and a fence or something, solid, boom, and it snaps and you hang and then you dangle off and you bleed and you got a compound fracture and you're fucked up, right? I think it's possible. I think it's easy, but to just poke it, boop, poke it, oh, hit the wrong one, shit. But we're gonna see body cam, I guess, because we gotta see how they found him. But let me see what I can find right here as far as what the police said. Again, on the first day. Anybody looking for a job? Shout out Ed the Hip Hop Guru. We got jobs. What we talking about, bro? Young Scooter, the reporter. Okay, let's do one of these and see. Explains what happened at the scene. We'll go to 145. We'll do this.
What was the discussion? What led to the 39-year-old having to flee from police? Can you give us a little bit more detail? Because it just seems. What exactly led to him running away?
So, again, there was a 911 call of dispute with shots fired and a female being dragged back into the residence. When officers arrived, a male initially opened the door, closed the door on the officer's face without communicating completely. That's when the officers established a perimeter and the two males fled. Why they fled, obviously, we can't speak for them. So it's still an active investigation.
Was the woman injured at all?
So we were not able to locate a female.
No female existed, no kid, no shells, no shots, no nothing. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so.
We ended up with two males and the decedent.
And you said the dispute started in a car, a moving car?
No, outside of the residence.
Outside of the residence, and then a woman was drugged back into the...
That's what was reported. We have not been able to substantiate any of that, which is also a part of our investigation.
And then when he jumped over the fence from one victim, what wound was, I guess, did he shoot himself?
No, there was no indication of anyone being shot. This appears that there was, when he fell, some type of fracture injuries to the leg, which caused...
See, this is... It's a throwaway ass answer though, Ego. Like he throwing it away like a throwaway ass answer. First of all, he social anxiety, but he don't want to talk to nobody right now. He want to be at home eating Lunchables in his drawers, watching some questionable shit on the internet. He don't want to be talking right now, so he just threw it out there. But shit, you could have fucked around and got sliced with with the gray fence, with the chain link fence, something sharp right there. Get you open or so. I don't know, man. I don't know how much way. I think it's an easy and if I could see the fence too, that'll probably seal the deal all the way. I think this is an easy W for there's no conspiracy hidden behind this shit. Unless we see body cam and they pushed them. Shout out Ed the Hip Hop Guru. Anybody looking for a job? School bus drivers and school bus aides, diesel mechanics, all right? So holla at Ed the Hip Hop Guru in the Discord. You can tag him in the Discord, and if you're looking for a job like that. Social anxiety, he's not Pebs. This guy definitely has stage fright, bro. All right, you ain't watching his face? Look, play his face, speed it up. Watch this motherfucker's face when he's not talking.
No.
He twitching and shit, but he got all Peb's anxiety. All right, so he just threw out and he threw out some foul ass information the way Pebs would, just some. It seems like the way he fell, he did something, broke something, caused some bleeding. Probably didn't dawn on him. He has a tick. Probably didn't dawn on him that Probably didn't dawn on him that he got poked or something. But I'm not hearing an official like coroner's report or no shit like that. I'm hearing some fucking, Uncle Fester over here.
We were not able to locate a female. We ended up with 2 males and the decedent.
And you said the disputes was.
I mean, they caught the other runner. Those guys gonna have answers too. Where they at?
Started in a car, a moving car.
No, outside of the residence.
Outside of the residence, and then a woman was drugged back into the.
That's what was reported. We have not been able to substantiate any of that, which is also a part of our investigation.
And then when he jumped over the fence from one victim, what wound would, I guess, did he shoot himself?
No, there was no indication of anyone being shot. This appears that there was, when he fell, some type of fracture injury to the leg, which caused the bleeding.
And to clarify, this wasn't.
I just think it was a fucked up circumstance from top to bottom on Buddy's birthday, bro. The worst streak of luck that a motherfucker could have on his birthday. Right? Birthday was bad for that. What was that other kid? I forget his name. The wild one that they was out to get. Got him on his birthday. Got this guy on his birthday. Or this guy got himself. Like, this just seems like an unforeseen circumstance. Shit that went left. You got a dumbass that made a fake ass phone call. Put a bunch of smut on some shit that didn't have to be there. Sent the police there. These guys take off for whatever reason. I ain't trying to go to jail today. Hits the fence, pokes his leg. Just a bad day. It happens. I don't see no conspiracy here yet.
Any involvement with the Atlanta police as far as shooting?
Correct. There's no, in neither one of these cases were officers involved in shooting at all.
At all.
On April 23rd.
That's my hypothesis is so far, puro accidente. That's it. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see if there is a coroner's report. Or a real, come on, give me the real cause. Forget this cop. See, press release. Scooter. Cause. Fucked up his birthday and everything, boy. Done deal. Let's see. She said that was the cause of death. 21 hours ago, 22 hours ago. A day ago. Yeah, man. So to me, it's all internet talk. Orthopedic doctor weighs in. Let's get it.
Originally from Walterboro. Well, tonight the GBI is labeling the death of Atlanta rapper Young Scooter as an in-custody death. His real name is Kenneth Edward Bailey, originally from Walterboro, South Carolina, but making a name for himself in the music industry in Atlanta. Condolences from some of the biggest artists continue to pour in. Rapper Meek Mill posting on X, RIP Young Scooter, an ATL generational leader that helped keep a lot of energy pumping out and into ATL. Prayers for your kids, family, and whole Free Bands family. As many continue to remember him, there are some questions still. How Young Scooter ended up dying after being pursued by Atlanta police last night. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn is live outside APD headquarters. And Cody, despite initial unconfirmed reports that spread like wildfire, APD says their officers never fired a shot.
That's right, Angelina. Now, what I can tell you
in
is...
this case, police like, why they say fuck me for? They on some 50 shit. In custody death. Well, yeah, I guess because they was running from them. Let's see what that in custody death, let's see what that consists of.
The only injury mentioned by APD was to young Scooter's leg. They say he fell after jumping over a couple of fences. Now, just hours ago,
should have had a scooter. Too soon? Bogus?
I spoke to an orthopedic surgeon to get some context to how a leg injury could possibly lead to death. This was the scene on Friday night in the 200 block of William Nye Drive in the Lakewood neighborhood in South.
Because I tell you what, I'd say this, alter ego, I consider it in custody too. He was in the act of fleeing from the police, and they were in the act of trying to get him. So, the question is, was it accidental?
East Atlanta. Police responding to a 911 call. APD Homicide Commander Lieutenant Andrew Smith.
Officers responded to a dispute with a weapon. It was advised in the call remarks that shots were fired and a female was dragged back into the location.
As officers tried to make contact with anyone in the home,
2 males fled out of the rear of the house.
APD says one of those men was Kenneth Bailey, better known as rapper Young Scooter. Lieutenant Smith says Bailey jumped 2 fences before officers caught up to him.
When officers located him on the other side of the fence, he appeared to have suffered an injury to his leg. There was no indication of anyone being shot. This appears that there was, when he fell, some type of fracture injury to the leg.
We heard this. Get to the orthopedic doctor.
Possibly fracturing or breaking his femur, which orthopedic surgeon Dr. Craig Weil says isn't impossible.
Well, the femoral artery is quite large, and it could, if you broke your femur and it broke badly enough, the ends of the femur fracture could be sharp enough to cut the artery.
As for the fall,
it'd have to be a very hard fall.
Something you don't often see.
No, you don't. It's a relatively rare injury to have a femoral artery death. It's only about 10 to 15% of traumas, so it's not very high.
See, this is a safe one right here, Ego. Somebody need to send round reviews out there with a camera. All right, you need to take a trip to Atlanta, go with a camera, get the scene, you know what I'm saying, get the fence, you know, give us his breakdown on this because, you know, this one probably won't get him in trouble. Custody is when they have you in cuffs. If that comes out that they had him in cuffs, that's crazy.
The Fulton County Medical Examiner says right now the cause and manner of death for young Scooter is listed as undetermined. Of course, an autopsy is planned if it's not already been conducted. Now, the GBI is investigating this in-custody death, Angelina, and of course, the autopsy results will hinge a lot on how they rule this investigation. Live in downtown Atlanta, Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Autopsy, cameras, all of that shit. Where's all of that shit? I know it just happened. In custody death. All right, so I'm sure he did his due diligence already. Let's see. So we have round reviews and Tony D on the case. There you go. That's a hell of a collabo right there. Let Tony steer the ship. Let Ron do the investigative journalism. Sounds like a fucking plan. All right? And, you know, this ain't the Young Dolph shit, you know. There's less heat on this. This is a good one right here. They, you know. Tony need to get that man on the phone right now. What is considered in custody when accounting for in custody death? When accounting for deaths in custody, the term in custody encompasses individuals who are detained under arrest in the process of being arrested, en route to incarceration, or incarcerated at any correctional facility, including juvenile facilities. Now, this specific case, there were still no charges. These guys ran preemptively. They didn't know why the law was there. They ran. I would think this would fall in the process of being arrested. But the only thing that makes that funny to me is arrested for what? For running from a knock on the door? The death of a person in custody of the police or the authorities or while in prison. And again, they said maybe that ruling will change after the autopsy. All right. Did I spell it wrong? What did I do? Boom. Same old shit. So I don't know. That shit sounds crazy. It sounds like a bad fucking day. Right? Bad day. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Let's see. This shit don't make sense, Shy. I'm trying to find which part sounds crazy. I can see it. What part sounds weird to you, Ron? Police, dumb bitch calls the police. Police knock on the door. Motherfucker run out the back. Hit the wrong fence. Poke himself. He's popped. Maybe the poke broke his leg. Maybe he wedged himself. I don't know. We need more information. But it don't sound out of the realm of possibility. What if he would have slit his artery up here in his arm or something? You know? It could have been anything. I think that motherfucker just fucked up. He ain't hit that fence right. Should have had a scooter. Did not hit the fence right. Let's see. All right, y'all. We're less than 200 away from the 10,000 sub goal. Ego. I'm gonna send out the bat signal for you. Make sure you come around. I already asked Zaya to jump on the panel. We're just going to hang out and shoot the shit for the 10K celebration here. We're going to have some of the usual suspects come on. Got Zaya coming on. If you'd like to come through, you're more than welcome. We're going to hang out. But then after that is no sleep to 100K. Salutes. Shout out Velez. Didn't he pass in the hospital? That I don't know. Did young Scooter pass on scene or in hospital? Fox 5 Atlanta 23 hours ago has a preliminary autopsy report. We got E Online. Let's get it right here. How can they escape a perimeter? Why did the police create a perimeter in the first place? Why hasn't any neighbor uploaded the fence area yet? Where is the ring camera footage? I have these questions too. I think the perimeter, just like the broken leg, was just thrown out there. I think the perimeter was. Shout out Ed the Hip Hop Guru for the $1.99 super chat. 10K salutes. I appreciate you, sir. I think the perimeter was just them, the chase. I think that's what they're considering the perimeter. They got a door slammed in their face. That says to them, all right, cover the front door, cover the back door. They don't want to see us. We got to go in eventually. Before they got to that back door, these dudes got out, ran off. They chased them. Buddy poked himself. Now the video, that's a whole nother thing. Where's the video? That's why I said send around reviews over there. And Tony, that's the part we missing. Where's the person that's saying, look, this is the fence, this is what happened, or this is not what happened? Where's the ring cameras? Where's there got to be something? It goes with the logic of nobody else heard no shots. There got to be something. But I don't see the shit that don't make sense. Shit seems fine to me. I don't know. We're going to have to see the body cam footage. That too. See how bad the injury looked from the get. If the officers reacted accordingly or if they lagged getting him the help. Yes, that's a different thing. That's a whole different story. I'm just simply saying it is quite possible that he inflicted this injury upon himself accidentally. That's my only point. Everything before and after that is the only question before that is, did they push him? Did they help cause the injury? If they didn't, now after that comes what you just said. We got to see the body cam, see how bad the injury looked from the get, and if the officers reacted accordingly or they lagged getting them help. You know what I'm saying? So, but I agree with Ego too. I'm looking for the ring cameras and all of that shit. I'm looking for the motherfucker that go over there. This the yard. This the crib. You know? This the Gollum that called the 911 operator. Let's see what this says. Let's see what this is. This is a E-News. This is like 4 hours ago. E-News like 4 hours ago. Young Scooter's cause of termination revealed after he terminates on his birthday, or after he ends on his birthday. More information is emerging about Young Scooter's untimely passing. After the Atlanta rapper, real name Kenneth Edward Bailey, passed on his 39th birthday, March 28th, the Fulton County Medical Examiner's press report has listed his cause of termination as penetrating injury of the right thigh. So that does not necessarily, listen, the cops are not medical examiners, nor are they, doctors. And I've already seen on Instagram people like, oh, but we got to remember the medical examiners work with the police and this and that. I agree, but not in every case, bro. To me, this seems quite fucking common. Penetrating injury of the right thigh. Ruling the manner of unaliving as accidental. The report released on April 1st added Mr. Bailey sustained a penetrating injury of his right thigh that created marked blood loss. This injury was not a gunshot wound. Mr. Bailey injured himself on organic wooden fencing. There we go. Give me some information on the fencing. Wooden fencing material and or wood debris after vaulting at least one fence. That's it, man. He missed the hurdles. He missed the hurdles. It took a splinter, that like a stake, a vampire stake. During the press conference, Atlanta Police Department Lieutenant Andrew Smith shared additional information about the incident, though at the time did not identify Young Scooter by name. Confirmed the 39-year-old passed after suffering a leg injury while fleeing the scene, where police had responded to a dispute involving a weapon. That never happened. It was advised in the call remarks that shots were fired and a female was dragged back into the location, he said. Once officers arrived, they knocked on the door. A male opened the door and immediately shut the door on the officers. Smith explained police established a perimeter, at which time two men fled the back of the house. One reportedly returned inside while the others jumped the fence. More importantly than cameras and everything, I need to hear from these guys that survived. What they know, what they see. And the cameras, where the cameras at? But again, this shit just happened. One reportedly returned. We just so used to run that shit right now. That who knows why they're putting it together? Maybe they're trying to see what's going on. Who knows? One reporter, and I'm usually a skeptic and a cynic. This shit just sounds too easy for me. Two men fled the back of the house. One reportedly returned inside while the others jumped two fences as he fled. While the other, so wait, was there three? Wait. Perimeter was two men fled the back of the house. One reportedly returned. See, somebody else reported that differently. Somebody else reported that as three ran out the back. One returned, two ran off. Yeah, because they said they got one person. See, these guys be reporting the shit wrong. They said they got two people plus a decedent. So that would mean three ran out, one came back, two kept running, one fell, the other one got caught. That's what happened. That's it. When officers located him on the other side of the fence, he appeared to have suffered an injury to his leg. Officers rendered aid, and he was transported to Gray Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased. He added, the injury that was sustained was not via the officers on the scene. It was while the male was fleeing. According to Smith, it appeared the man had sustained some type of fracture or injuries to the leg, which he noted was bleeding. He clarified no shots were fired during the incident, which remains under investigation. In the hours leading up to his death, the young Scooter had reshared birthday messages and well wishes from loved ones, colleagues, and fans to his social media. Following his unaliving, his son, Kenneth Bailey Jr., shared a tribute to his father. Damn, my best friend gone, he wrote in an Instagram story. Happy birthday, too. I know exactly what to do for sure, though. Yeah, you going to crash out. You going to play yourself over some shit that your old man did. You know I got my sisters and brothers. Yeah, I saw another message where he was talking some other shit, some gangster shit. He added in the March 31 post dedicated to his father, "You crushed everything in me, that's all to it. Never gonna heal, I'll deal with it though." Alright? There you have it. To me, that sounds like a closed case. We'll see all the other stuff, and that shit will solidify it further, but I don't see no foul play in that situation, except from that bald-headed bitch at the beginning. That's what I saw. I saw her. Alright? Yeah, for sure, 298. I'll drop the link that day. I will drop the link. It'll end up... I'm going to drop it in the Discord first, but I'll make sure that you get it over here. Shout out Vernon Himes on the check-in. Hundreds up in the chat for y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. We've been here for 2 hours and 45 minutes. All right, we about to call it one. Unless there's any new information on this, but it seems cut and dry. They lock Schmiegel up. Let's see what they charge her with. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on Lil Andri, stuck in the El Salvadoran prison. We'll keep it going from there. Orthopedic surgeon said that it's quite possible that the femur can pop the femoral artery, but to me, I feel like it didn't even break. I feel like he just got poked. They probably thought it was broken, but I think he just got poked. All right, boom. All right, y'all. I'm gonna again. YouTube decided to clear one of my videos that I was gonna premiere today for monetization. And then they changed their mind. So, fuck them. But I got another one here on standby. I'm going to put the metadata on there. I'm going to get that premiere going. It's the Monster of Isegure, which is the CJNG, Jalisco Nueva Generación Cartel training facilities that had crematoriums. The story of one of the captured trainers that worked there. All right, we got that on the table. I appreciate y'all. We'll be back at noon tomorrow. And let me run through the chat real quick. See what we got here. Who do we have first up here? Let me. Oh shit! Let's see. What happened here? Let me unpin this real quick. I think 298. Shout out 298 was first. Shout out Eddie Jimenez. Mike Lopez, Shannon, 298. Pooh, Torres, Adrian Torres, Zachary Leckleitner.
No mommy's weak.
Mike Lopez, Velez, salutes to you, sir. William Borden, Popeye the Stoner, Darkly Noon, my brother Oso. We got 298. JP, salutes to JP. Appreciate you. Thank you for the power chat, sir. Salutes Ed the Hip Hop Guru for the super chat. What else we got here? Deb Heiser, appreciate you. Ricky Bobby, salutes. Eddie Jimenez, I appreciate you, sir. Nathaniel's Adventures, Young Jizzle. Shout out to all the members, all the wrenches. I appreciate you guys. Deb, Robert. Albert Flores. Let's see. Zoraida, appreciate you. Thank you. HG, salutes. Rounds Other Alter Ego, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through, sir. Thank you for pushing the questions and pushing the content. Shout out Ed the Hip Hop Guru. All right, y'all. With that said, no music, no nothing. We just gonna get out of here. Shout out Beatrice Kiddo. Salutes. All right. We made it. Again, shout out Vernon Himes. Honey's up in the chat for y'all. Replay game. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow at noon. Got some editing to do, some auditions to do, and then we'll be back at it mañana for Thursday. So there is no premiere today. There will be a premiere. Give me premiere be in about an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. I like to give it enough time for El Tubo to send out the notification, but there will be a premiere today. It just won't be directly after because the last minute they demonetized the joint that I was going to drop today. So, all right, boom. With that said, I will holla. Peace.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff for my friend.